Do apologize, everyone. Me and D Rose getting into a little pre-live discussion about the podcast parlay this week. He don't want to play it. I'm going to convince him though. He's going to be convinced. Let's get into it. TGO MMA Pod 152.
Yeah.
Wrong one.
Step in the ring, feel the adrenaline rush, throwing fists and kicks, the pain we can't hush. And then they find us, we're the real tough guys, breaking down barriers, we aim for the skies. Into the octagon, like a warrior I stand, slaying blows, taking hits as I command. The art of combat, I'm ready to go. Submission, knockout, that's how I flow. Unleashing the fury like an untamed beast, locked in a cage where strength is released. Striking precision, grappling with my golden octagon. The stage we ignite. Unleashing the fury like an untamed beast, locked in a cage where strength is released. Striking precision, grappling like a golden octagon. The stage we ignite.
And we are live. Welcome to the Golden Octagon MMA Podcast with your hosts, Matt and D Rose.
Yes, sir. Your boy is ready to make some money playing that change cheddar intro when we very first start. I'm ready to get to it, D Rose. I'm ready to get to it. Welcome to the Golden Octagon MMA Podcast number 152. My name is Matt. D Rose is on that Irish. And yeah, we are off to London this weekend for the UFC fights. But before we get into it, we got to get through some UFC fight announcements. And we are going to recap the UFC Vegas 104 from this past weekend real quick as well. Unfortunately, I agreed to it last week, so I will be eating some beans this week. But you know, I ate 5 hours ago now, so hope I don't throw up and we're good to go. But and we also got the podcast play of the week. We're gonna have it rocking. We don't know what it is yet. We're gonna have it rocking by the end of the episode. We're on a 4-5 week streak. I know I've played it every single week. I don't think D-Rose playing every week. We're on like 4-week streak now of the podcast play of the week, where my favorite play and D-Rose's favorite play. You parlay them together, and that shit's been cashing. So with that being said, we appreciate all of you for stopping by, hanging out with us here today. Hit that thumbs up button if y'all don't mind. And let's get into the show, D-Rose. How have you been in the past week, my brother?
Yeah, no, things have been great, and I was going to say, for as much smack as we talked about the card, I mean, it actually it turned out to be a pretty decent card overall, just as far as the performances. I think the biggest thing is there were just really no storylines. So it's like, there's not like an advancement in these wins. It's just like, hey, they were good wins and that's it. But good performance on the card overall, and good main event. I did do the podcast play last week, and I did hit that. I didn't go too heavy last week because I just wasn't super confident in all the matchups. But not to sound a little too much this weekend, but I'm feeling a little bit more confident this week, definitely, than last week.
Hell yeah. Indeed. Well, with that being said, we'll get in the chat. Chat's popping tonight. We got WBC Thunder at the Yo. We got Austin in here. Oh, come on, Austin. Don't say that, man. I thought we were your friends. We're your friends, man. Anyway, we got Antoine in here. Yo, can't wait to vent about his supervisor tonight. What's up, Riley? How you doing? It's like jobs nowadays can think they can talk to you however they want because they pay you. Yeah, I feel you, dude. I feel you. I know D Rose feels you too. You know him being calling in on his days off. Like, man, I ain't getting paid enough for this. These Kia Fortes don't pay me that much.
The spins suck. Let me tell you.
Supervisor, don't insult your mother, Antoine. Man, hopefully not. We got Dave in here with the yerp. What's going on, Dave? He says, F your supervisor. We got also saying, what's up to Dave?
What's up?
Antoine saying, what's up to Dave in Austin? Antoine, I mean, we got Austin speaking more Spanish. Yeah, although maybe prison
Austin
will always be.
Austin has been burned the hell up out of Google Translate, huh?
Austin speaks Spanish because Google Translate doesn't work that well, dude. I know from experience, doesn't work that well.
You're like,
anyway.
I thought it did, but not really.
Yeah, all right. Oh, goof is here. That's fighting words. Yeah, that's what Dave said. Fighting words. You hurt my feelings. All right. You guys are cracking me up. We got Jay Wolf in here, brother. Had to hop on and say thank you so much for the card. You always come through. Shout out you, Jay Wolf. You buy something on eBay. I always hook everyone up. It's very rare that I don't send people extra cards if they buy something from me on eBay, man. We got the puke bag. Yeah, I enjoyed the whole card. Honestly, I don't think it was a bad card. We are just used to fire cards only, which is usually pay-per-views. And yeah, it was right after the pay-per-view, so it makes sense. My girl is Mexican, so I have no choice but to learn the language. Austin, mine is too. Her family doesn't even speak English, but it's so tough for me, dude. It's so tough. I got little sentences here and there, but dude, it's like I need like very, very slow Spanish for me to understand. It's just not the way it works. It's just not the way it works, man. Anyway, we got Antoine. What's the weather been like in y'all's region? Atlanta, it's fire, unfortunately. It's been on fire lately. Like, that's terrible, Antoine. I'm sorry to hear that, man. Here today, I would say it was a rather nice day. It was like 65 out, very nice, chill day. Didn't do a whole lot. Walked my dog down the street, though. Anyway.
Like, did he mean on fire as in the city is on fire, or that like it is completely hot?
Well, no, let's Google and find out.
I'm hoping the temperature and not that houses are just burning down and everybody's just kind of walking around like nothing's happening.
Let's see.
I just imagine
5 days ago,
like while all the houses in the neighborhood are burning up.
Nope, it says 5 days ago, fire crews respond to a blaze in an abandoned building in Atlanta. That's on the news. I don't know if that's 13 hours ago. Crews battle flames after. Yeah, dude, there are for sure fire happening right now in Atlanta. Look, 13 hours ago, 8 hours ago. Let's get this. Well, anyway, it's not going to focus. With that being said, there are fires going on in Atlanta. Stay safe, Antoine. Stay safe out there, man. I'm in 80 degrees.
Yeah.
Well, it still said there are fires going on in Atlanta. Anyway, safe out there. Wherever you're at, stay safe.
Well, houses. Yeah, Antoine's walking the dog while houses are burning down. That'd be interesting.
Yeah. I'm sure there's a fire going on somewhere. It's crazy you say that. When I was 12 years old, my house burned down. And that's wild, dude. All right, dude, we have to get this show started. We have to get this show started. We're not going to get it started. All right, let's get into it. Glad everyone is safe. No one's house is burned down. Let's get into it. This past weekend, UFC Vegas 104, as D Rose said, we were giving it some crap to on the podcast last week, but it's the week after the pay-per-view, never the best in the world, so it is what it is. But anyway, with that being said, the results were Roman Dolidze defeats Marvin Vettori via decision. Chidi Njokuani knocks out Elias Zaleski dos Santos in the second round. Alexander Hernandez defeats Kurt Holloway via decision. Damon Blackshear submits Cody Gibson in the second round. Brenison Haberio submits Dair Nurgaze in the second round. We'll talk about that one in a few minutes. Kevin Vallejo gets the first round knockout over Sting Sung-Woo Choi in our prelims. Waldo Cortez Acosta gets the second round knockout over Ryan Spann. Yu Sung Yu gets the decision over AJ Cunningham. Carlos Vera gets the first round submission over Josias Musasa as a huge dog, too. Sam Hughes gets the decision win over Stephanie Luciano. Andre Lima gets the third round submission over Daniel Barras. We'll talk about that one as well. Priscilla Cachoeira does knock out Joseanne Nunez in the first round. 2 minutes and 46 seconds. It's so funny because Google still refuses to put a picture of Priscilla Cachoeira there. It's like Joseanne Nunez fights a ghost. Like, it's like no one there with a record. Google refuses to put Priscilla Cachoeira's picture up there.
She's been in the UFC way too long at this point. Yeah, she's been in the UFC way too long to not have a Google picture at this point, dude.
Like, it's almost like, dude, we just can't put that picture up there. That's what it seems like. Anyway, and then first fight of the night was Carly Judy's head kicks Yanessa Dubin in the first round. So shout out crispy Carly Judy's. First of all, yeah, I know you were kind of hesitant on, like, you're starting off. You're like, yeah, you know, she's lost 2, but I've been high on her since the Contender Series, and you can attest to that because every time she fights, I get excited. I'm like, dude,
you're like crispy.
She's good.
Like, okay,
she's good, dude. Yeah, but can't wait to see where she goes next. With that being said, my thoughts all together on the card. Roman Dolidze looked good throughout that whole fight. Not gonna lie. I think once the 5th round started, I was like, yep, Roman's got this fight. And when it went to the scorecards at the end, I heard one of the judges 49-46, and I started clapping because I knew Roman had got the decision. Chidi knocks out Elijah Zaleski dos Santos in the second round. That one kind of bums me out because I was pretty high on Zaleski this past weekend, and when he doesn't win, kind of shits on most of my stuff. Alexander Hernandez, Kurt Holloway. I personally thought it was a robbery, but I am biased because I was on Kurt Holloway, and I personally thought that he did more, if I'm just going to be completely honest. Damon Blackshear submits Cody Gibson. I thought late submission for Damon Blackshear, so I did bet the round 2-3 sub prop there, so I'm glad that did hit. It would have been better if it would have been 3 or decision for Damon Blackshear, because it would have been better if he would have submitted him in the third round, because I would have hit that 3 decision prop as well. There are a lot of times that people call fraud checks, D Rose, and you know, sometimes fighters just lose. You know, it's a fist fight. At the end of the day, anything can happen. But this past weekend, man, I believe we saw the first legit fraud check that we've seen in a while, and that was Dair when he fought Brenison Haberio, because Brenison Haberio, he's not a good fighter, dude. And dude, Dair Nurgaze came in Friday, 5 pounds overweight, looked like shit, dude. And in the fight, it was almost like, what is this dude doing? Like, what's his goal here? First of all, I mean, you know, let's just get to the point. You shouldn't lose by Kimura at a heavier weight in the UFC at all. But he was locked into that shit for the longest and then end up losing from bottom, dude. It's like, this dude is so ass. I can't wait for him to fight again, because I can't say whoever it is, because this dude's a fraud, dude. Dair Nurgaze, do not bet on him. Do not bet on him for future references. Anyway, Kevin Vallejo gets the first round knockout over Sung-Woo Choi. That was expected. I thought that was going to happen. And my most favorite confident play on the card last week was Waldo Cortez Acosta money line. And dude, when I saw Ryan Spann Friday on the scale, I knew I would. Because Ryan Spann was just fat. It was just the same Ryan Spann, but fat. He put on no muscle. It didn't like fucking look like that. You know, he was putting on size to go to heavyweight. He was just fat. And I was so happy when I saw on the scale, because I knew my side of the parlay was cashing at that point. Waldo Cortez Acosta does knock out Ryan Spann in the second round. Sung defeats AJ Cunningham. Man, AJ Cunningham, I thought the drop down would have gave him a shot, dropping down 2 weight classes, dude. But nope, AJ Cunningham is just a bad fighter, a punching bag with arms and legs, dude. It's like dude, it's the equivalent of what we would look like if we try to get in there, like against professional fighters, dude. That's what it would look like. Just not good, dude. We'd be in there getting our fucking ass beat. That's what Jay Cunningham looks like. It's just basically if we try to fight. It is what it is. Anyway, Carlos Vera, Josias Musasa. Josias Musasa was the biggest favorite on the card. He's getting into a scrap with Carlos Vera. Carlos Vera ends up laying off to the side, throwing a head kick, like almost falling down, but it clips Musasa. Carlos Vera jumps on his back, lock of a rear naked choke. Carlos Vera round 1 submission. That was like, it had to have been like plus like 5,000, dude, because that was his. But if we're going to be honest, we should start playing these fighters in like their only way to win, because that was Carlos Vera's only wins. That's about like by sub, and it had to have been like plus 800-900. But I just think I thought Josias Musasa was going to womp him this past weekend. Anyway, Sam Hughes does what she does. Bummer there. I did Stephanie Luciano, Andre Lima, Daniel Barres, dude. This was a peach hole lemon, if you know what I'm talking about. I was trying to message you during this fight. I know this past weekend was your birthday, dude, so you wasn't really, locked in too much. Andre Lima almost killed Daniel Barres in the first round. Almost killed him in the second round, dude. And when he got the takedown like halfway through the second round, dude, I was able to relax, breathe, dude. And then he starts landing some ground pound. Like, oh God, no. Dude, Andre Lima almost killed Daniel Barres like 30 times. And this was your the podcast parlay of the week, dude. That was so nerve-wracking. But it cashed.
I went back and watched it. Yeah, that second round was a little that second round was dicey. I ain't gonna lie.
First round, I was like, oh no, don't kill him yet. Yeah, dude. But it cashed. So podcast play of the week does cash indeed. Put $15 on it. Andre Lima 3-year decision. Waldo Cortez Acosta money line. It was plus 161. I believe on FanDuel Friday may have been plus 170 or Thursday, something like that. But anyway, plus 161. So it cashes again. So no complaints there. Hell yeah. Finished Priscilla Cachoeira and Cully Judice. First time I think it's ever happened. 2 back-to-back first round women's knockouts, dude. That's my thoughts on the whole card. What do you got, man?
Yeah, I thought the main event, for Roman and Marvin, I thought that I thought that was a good fight. I thought that Roman was the clear winner. I thought that Marvin, I thought I could have given him 2 rounds. I thought I gave him the first and I gave Marvin the third. Obviously, Marvin ended up hurting Roman there. I was surprised to see Roman actually end up getting hurt, but the last couple fights that he had, against Imavov and a couple guys as well, he has gotten clipped a couple times. I know neither guy's been finished, but I'd be interested to see if Roman does get like a Whitaker, Izzy, or somebody like that in his next fight. He might get clipped, but yeah, I think that was a good fight overall. Good performance from Roman, and I thought it was a clear win for him. I was surprised to see Chitty get the knockout against Eliseu. Yeah, there we go. And I don't know why I hesitate on that name, but I was surprised to see him get the knockout, but I wasn't surprised to see him get the win because I did pick Chitty. Yeah, good performance from him. Savage knockouts, man. As long as he can make the weight at 170, because that's the biggest issue with him. But I think as long as he can make the weight at 170, he's going to look good. I thought the Hernandez Holloway fight, I thought it could have went either way, to be honest. I thought it was a good competitive fight. I thought that Hernandez was kind of landing the bigger shots, but it could have went either way. Glad it went the Hernandez route for myself. Demo Blackshear, awesome performance, man. That dude on the ground, he's a nightmare for anybody down at bantamweight, man. So yeah, I'm going to be excited to see him match up, against a couple of the top tier guys, because his scrambling ability is absolutely crazy. So yeah, good fight there. The Salsa Boy and Ryan Spann, I mean, kind of as expected. We expected a knockout there at some point. What I expected Spann to have the speed advantage.
Fucking D-Rose dabbing on.
I caught it. That's it. Yeah, there we go.
Okay, taking it back a few years,
Newton
dude.
style, baby. Yeah, Cam Newton style. Yeah, I thought Salsa Boy really looked good. Man.
There we go.
It's all the bullshit I'm smelling, man. It's all the bullshit. Man, this is absolutely crazy. I cannot stop sneezing to save my life. I thought Spann was going to have a speed advantage against Cortez Acosta. I just thought Cortez Acosta was going to have the power. But to see Spann look slower and, he was coming up from like heavyweight where he kind of had a speed advantage over some of the guys.
Oh, he's fat.
Yeah, I thought that was
just fat.
Yeah, that was pretty alarming for Ryan Spann and really ended the wait. If there's one thing I will give Ryan Spann, he gets finished so emphatically. Like, he makes a great highlight reel, like, for anybody. Like, if you fight Ryan Spann, he is very similar to Johnny Walker. He just doesn't get the Johnny Walker rub. You can say he's Johnny Walker Jr. in that aspect, because that dude will deliver a highlight reel finish on his behalf. Like, he will get finished in a highlight reel fashion. It's crazy. Yeah, that Carlos Vera sub, man, that head kick setup, dude, that was so clean. It reminded me of the Alex Caceres to the Julian Erosa, where he kind of throws a punch and he waits a second and almost waits until he's just completely out of the way, and then throws the kick, sneaks it over the top. I mean, I saw a tweet over the weekend, or it wasn't a tweet, but it was a post on social media that it said that Carlos Vera is one of the first very few fighters or whatever to finish a fighter twice in the same fight. Because, I mean, he was completely out from that head kick. Musasa was. He was out, and then the way that he just got his back so slick and was able to lock in the submission, Musasa fought the hands at first, and I was like, oh, okay, he's going to fight it off, and then he just sunk it in real quick. And
then you remember that he don't really have a gym.
Yeah,
we could not verify that exists.
Well, dude, at that point, he was so freaking rocked. He probably didn't even remember what he had for lunch earlier, because that head kick absolutely rocked him, dude. And that kick pretty much finished him. But that was an awesome finish there. So I love that performance. And yeah, as you said, that Andre Lima, Daniel Barros, that second round. I know the first round was kind of dicey, but I was, again, Saturday, I was out for dinner and stuff. So I was kind of in and out when I was watching the fight. But I was able to watch the finish in the third round. But once I went back and watched it, yeah, I was watching that second round, closely too. And as you said, once you started working that ground and pound in, I'm like, man, I'm glad I didn't see this live, because if I did, I would have definitely been, I would have been freaking levels of Jared Cannonier versus Marvin Vettori when I had Jared Cannonier by decision to win. Yeah, I mean, I would have been puckered up for sure. But glad that Lima came through and cashed that for us. And shout out to the women to kick off the card, man. I mean, Priscilla Cachoeira, we both were on her. We both thought she was going to win. For her to get a clean knockout like that, throwing that nasty uppercut, just kind of, slips the hand and bow, just sneaks it in there. Puts Josie Nunes out cold. So that was dope. And then Carly Judice, man. Yeah, I know you're always excited about her, and she is. She does have, that nasty, kind of the nasty gritty mentality, man. Like, she does go in there and she looks to try to hurt chicks, and throw that nasty head kick the way she did to set that up, and then go for the ground and pound finish. Awesome finish from both the women to kick off the card, and yeah, that was, like I said, a good card overall that definitely exceeded expectations.
Indeed. All right, we got a few questions in the chat, D-Rose. Let's see. Antoine, do you think Choi gets another fight? Say he lost his mom. I think they cut Mike Trezano and Choi after that fight, and then they re-signed Choi. So maybe if like on an Asia heavy card, possibly, but I don't think we'll. Not unless we need him. What about you, Rose?
Yeah, no, I'm with you. Yeah, I don't know if they're in a position where they really need him. I know he's lost a few fights, and once you start losing a few, you hadn't really delivered on any big wins. As fun as you can be, you can only get so many of those opportunities before the UFC is just going to eventually say goodbye. So I think Choi's kind of in that position himself.
Yeah. After seeing Ryan Span move up, can we say John made the right move taking 3 years? No, Ryan's just ass. It doesn't matter what weight class he's at, man. He's just not a good.
Yeah, he's at 185. he's going to get chin. Like it's just it's the way he loses. Like every single time, like he will absolutely get. And it is almost guaranteed. If Bogdan Guzgov fight same way, he was absolutely out. But it's like they make him take ground and pound until he's out. Like the refs can stop the fight at any moment because once he starts getting the wobbly deer legs and stuff like that, it's over. Just stop the fight. Like quit letting him take unnecessary ground and pound because it seems to happen almost every single way Ryan Span gets finished. Is if someone just follows up with like 3 or 4 more extra shots when it's like you could have stopped this sooner, man. Save this man.
Yeah, indeed. Could Marvin make one? I don't think so. I think his head weighs like 70 pounds.
Dude, that dude's chin is absolutely granite, man. That's another one, like the Diaz and Max Holloway level, type chin that people talk about. That dude has a legendary chin, man. He will. If there's one thing I will give Marvin Vettori, he is a big goofball. He does a lot of stupid stuff, but that dude's chin is absolutely insane. So I got to give him credit for that.
He got rocked a few times on Saturday. Like it's very Jerry near fight, but outside of that, dude, I haven't seen him wobbly too often. Like I was like, dude, Roman is fucking beating his ass, dude. It's like just having him like a few separate times too. But we got Antoine wanting to know how many different fighter shirts do you have, D-Rose?
Man, I have like 3 Izzy shirts. So Poirier, I probably have I'm gonna say between I don't have the number off the top of my head. I'm gonna say between 6 and 8, something like that. I don't have too many.
Yeah,
but I got a decent collection.
Edwards or Brady this weekend? We'll have to get into at the end of the show. Dave going Brady. Salsa Boy done me well. Hell yeah. So I think Sean, Smudge, Leon, WrestleFuck to be exact. I'm with you on that one. How does the subscription plus cost? Watching the fights back is fire. I think it was like $10.
Yeah, I believe it's 10. It's either $9.99 or $10.99. They just raised it not too long ago. So yeah, I believe it's actually
shit, but it's ass though.
Yeah, no, I told you the app is absolutely terrible. And as far as like actually watching and streaming, the setup on it, like it is absolutely terrible. How to navigate your menus. If you want to watch old fights, honestly, your best bet is to probably get like UFC Fight Pass or something like that. No, I don't have Fight Pass personally, so I can't.
No, it's to go back and fucking go to one of these fucking sites and just watch the stream on. That's the best way because you get to watch the full thing, like don't pay for that shit.
No, I just think he's saying in terms of going back and watching old fights, like going back and watching older fights. So I think if you're going to do that, honestly, your best bet is going to be to get something like a UFC Fight Pass. You're going to have more options there. You're going to have more fighters at your disposal.
Here's what Fight Pass does. Here's what Fight Pass does, like in ESPN Plus. The week of that fighter's fights, they lock all the footage on Fight Pass for that fighter. So you have to go to ESPN Plus to watch it. Every fight week.
Really?
For every fighter on the card. Every week, dude.
Wow. That's great. No, I did not know that. I don't have that's why I said I don't have a UFC Fight Pass subscription. So I would not know that. But that is that's interesting. And I would think that again, the way the whole interface, everything with ESPN Plus, you can ask Matt. I have been against them for a long time now. I personally, and it maybe is something that we could talk about in the news topic, I cannot wait until they leave ESPN or ESPN Plus, or just offer another alternative of a streaming platform to ESPN Plus. Like, I don't think it should be strictly ESPN Plus, because for me, honestly, the app, it streams horribly. I told you last time when we were watching the pay-per-view, it literally cut off in the middle of Magomed Ankalaev when he was in the middle of his post-fight speech. I didn't even get to see what it was on TV. I had to go back and watch it on YouTube. It just cut off. I didn't ask for this to turn off, but again,
I had
have
an issue
thousands of
buying
complaints
it. I had an issue buying it. Like, I had to, like, on my app, I usually click buy on my app, click, and then fucking pay for it, Apple Pay right there. But like fucking like for 313, it's almost like I had to click it, and then it sent me to ESPN.com. I had to sign in there, click some other shit, actually type in my credit card shit, and then it was able to buy it. Like, so, like, it was a pain in the ass to buy it like this past week, or fucking 2 weeks ago now.
Yeah, no, that and I saw where a bunch of people did. I didn't personally have an issue with it. The only thing initially, it just kept trying to give me the Spanish broadcast. So I did have to do some flipping to find the English broadcast. But other than that, I didn't have an issue with that. But again, you know my complaints with ESPN Plus. I've had long complaints with them, and yeah, again, I cannot wait until there's another alternative to ESPN Plus.
Okay, yeah. So, anyway, overall, D-Rose, UFC Vegas 104, good, not good. What do you think?
I'm sorry, I kind of cut in and out. What was that?
Altogether, UFC Vegas 104, good, not good. Thoughts, opinions, whole card.
Good.
How'd you do overall? Did you make any money?
Yeah, honestly, again, I had like two small $2 parlays. I had like a $5 parlay. None of those hit, but then I had the podcast pick, so that was what I came up with. I think I just what did I put 25 on it, I believe. So, and yeah, I came up in the plus. I didn't want to go too heavy because I wasn't super confident on a lot of picks, but again, that's why I said I'm a little bit more confident going into this weekend.
Fair enough. Yeah. So that being said, fight card was good. As D-Rose said, we did hit the podcast play of the week, and the reason this next subject won't be as bad this week is because I did hit one more $5 to win 286. Kevin Mayahus, round 1 round knockout, Blackshear round 2 round 3 sub, and Roman deletes via points. So this next segment of the week won't be too bad because I gotta eat some beans. So this past weekend, me and D-Rose had 5 different picks on the fight card. Carly Judice, Yanesi Dubin, AJ Cunningham, Su Young Yu, Kurt Hollowball versus Alexander Hernandez, Elijah Santos versus Chidi and Jaquani, and Roman Dolidze versus Marvin Vettori. But the 3 that matter, because D-Rose picked them because he was not the pick champ last week, was Kurt Hollowball versus Alexander Hernandez, where I went Kurt Hollowball, D-Rose went Alexander Hernandez. Elijah Zaleski dos Santos versus Jaquani, where I went Zaleski and D-Rose went Chidi and Jaquani, and Roman Dolidze versus Marvin Vettori, where I went Roman and D-Rose went Marvin Vettori. So, as you know, D-Rose got 2 of the 3 of those right, so I unfortunately have to eat the beans this week. The beans are back, y'all, and just as a special little treat, look at this. I'm gonna full screen it. Ain't even opened yet. These ain't even opened yet. Look, tearing the seal off of it as we speak. Fresh pack of beans. Will it be liver and onions cappuccino, dead fish, strawberry banana smoothie, old bandage, pomegranate, booger or juicy pear, dirty water, birthday cake, rotten egg or butter, popcorn, stink bug, toasted marshmallow, stinky socks, tutti frutti, barf, peach, toothpaste, or blueberry? We are getting bean boozled because I apparently don't know how to pick fights. So first one, yeah, God, it's a dead fish or peach, or barf or strawberry banana smoothie. Oh God, dude. Here it is. Got my food line bag ready, baby. Please don't be bad. Please don't be bad.
Get the drum roll ready.
Oh God. I don't know what it was, but it wasn't. I think that was barf, dude, because it tastes the same in my mouth. So if I'm gonna be honest, it tastes just like I fucking threw up. So
Yeah. It tastes like the barf you already was like trying your best to hold back.
Miss this. God, I didn't miss this shit, D-Rose, man. I'm going to be honest. I didn't.
Welcome back. Welcome back.
How did the fucking first 3 months that we're not doing this? I win the pick every fucking week, but first time bring the beans back. Guess who fucking loses? Here we go. It's got blue on it. Stinky socks or Tutti Frutti? Come on, beans are going up here. Stinky socks or Tutti? Please get Tutti Frutti. God, dude. Ugh. I don't think that one's bad. No, that one's not bad. I got Tutti Frutti on that. I was ready for it. Oh God.
You were definitely prepared for the worst on that. Yeah.
Yeah. That one's solid. That one's actually pretty solid, dude. Tutti Frutti is good.
I think your anticipation for that one being bad and then it wasn't is actually funnier than getting the bad bean because you was just like, nah.
Dude, they're always gonna be. I don't ever get the good ones. That's the issue.
Hey, I will tell you. So I did place an order for the 5th generation ones. So there's a new set of flavors out now. Some of them include I believe it was wet dog.
The 6th edition. This is the 6th edition. Look at this. 6th. 6th edition.
Yeah, the one that the one that I had gotten, it has a couple of different flavors like lawn clippings, canned dog food, skunk spray, and baby wipes.
Ugh, that's so nasty.
And moldy cheese. Yeah, so those are some of the bad flavors. So those are the ones that I have coming in. So I'm going to be prepared just in case. Hopefully we ain't got to take them. Y'all ain't got to see me get tortured. But
oh God, hopefully you got to eat the wet dog and skunk. The skunk spray is gonna fuck. Yeah. So one bad bean in here this week. I still gotta throw that away because it's got a lot of spit in it as well. So let's put that over there.
And it stinks. They stink.
Really?
Yeah, like the beans.
We gotta be.
Those. Like when you chew them up and spit them out, like they stink. Like, no doubt.
Oh yeah, I'm sure. All right, now that's over. God, dude, I was just anticipating because, dude, once I started gagging, my eyes start like fucking watering, and then I think my eyelashes like flick water on my glasses, and then my fucking glasses got water all over them. So I'm just gonna take the shits off. Like, I can't really read that well from far distance, but it'll be all right. All right, UFC news and fight announcements. Truly not a ton this week, D-Rose, believe it or not. Do you have anything that you want to talk about off the jump? That I do, or anything like that?
Speaking of, because I am wearing the shirt, I did see.
I gotta give you something to drink. I'm gonna full screen you real quick. I'll let you talk to the peeps.
Yeah, no, I had seen where they were talking about, hey, Dustin Poirier, his last fight. I believe it was Benil Dariush said in an interview that there could be a potential that it was against Max Holloway. So Max Holloway versus Dustin Poirier 3. And okay, me personally, I'm just going to say this. It sounds like a banger of a fight, but I don't really know if we need to see that again because, I mean, really, if you think about it, Dustin Poirier has beaten Max Holloway twice already. I think, would that fight deliver? I obviously think it would. They're both strikers. Their second fight was an absolute banger. They went to war in that one as well. So I think if they fought for a third time, it could deliver as a banger. Me personally, I think that Max Holloway is moving up a weight class to try to really give himself an opportunity to have more of the big time matchups to try and propel himself forward in the division to where Dustin Poirier is really going in there for his retirement fight. Okay, I understand that Poirier wants legends, but let's not try to potentially bury Max Holloway as a storyline at 155 to try to give Dustin Poirier the proper send-off. I think that while that fight could be a banger, I don't know if I necessarily want that one to be Dustin Poirier's retirement fight. And that's just, again, the only reason why I feel that way is because Poirier finished him the first time, although it was a very long time ago. And then that last fight, I mean, it was a banger, but there was no doubt after that fight who won that fight. Like, Dustin Poirier clearly won that fight. You could say 4 rounds of 1. So, after that, I don't need to see a third one.
First of all, I've been saying this shit for like 2 months now, and you're like, nah, that ain't gonna happen. Nah, that ain't gonna happen. But now that Benny Dariush, you're like, oh shit, that might be happening.
No,
I guess I get no credit.
Not that I'm necessarily saying that I didn't think it would happen, but just to what I'm saying now is that I don't want that fight. I don't want that fight at all.
I think because you're scared of what might happen to DP in his retirement fight. And it makes sense. Dude,
we've seen the fight twice. We've seen it twice.
Exactly. We've seen it twice. Once a really long time ago, and then once a couple years ago when Max was at 145, and he just didn't cut weight for that fight. Max is not going back down to 145 now, and he snoozed Justin Gaethje, dude. Like, I think Max has put on the size now at 155, where you said the second one was a banger. It was kind of just like fucking Dustin Poirier just knocking Max around the whole cage because it almost didn't like it. It just looked like he was too small. But now that Max has put on size for the BMF, dude, I think that could be an absolute banger, dude. And I think Max wins that fight too. And it's sad, but that's just the way I think it goes because. Dude, Max's game plan against fucking Justin, dude, was that spinning back kick. It's like they saw something to fucking set that shit up perfectly. You don't have to find something about the 100 things of like the Poirier fucking does, whether it's his fucking hair wipe, whether it's his pants fucking pull up, something. They're gonna have something planned for that whole fucking situation because now it'll be a full game plan for it, as where the second time was kind of like fucking short notice just because Khabib couldn't fight, dude.
Again, me personally, I'm actually going to pick Dustin Poirier going into that if Dustin Poirier does end up taking the fight against Max Holloway, just because the way the second fight played out. I understand your point with Justin Gaethje, the way he was able to knock out Justin Gaethje. He did say, Max Holloway did say going into that fight that Justin Gaethje basically dips his head a lot after he throws a big right hand and misses. So that was basically how he was able to time that up, and that was perfect game planning for them. I think the biggest thing is that Justin Gaethje is not the cleanest boxer in the world. He does have good hands, obviously. We've seen him display good boxing, but just in terms of in the pocket combinations, setting up awkward angles for his punches, I think that's something where Dustin Poirier, I think that's how he was able to give Max problems in that second fight. And I think in a third fight, and I'm not going to say Ilia Topuria level of hurt Max Holloway, but if Topuria was able to kind of get inside the pocket and use his power, he doesn't really have the speed that Dustin Poirier has, in my personal opinion. So that's why I would favor Dustin, which is why, why would I want to see Max go down 0-3 against Poirier? That's really, truthfully, how I see it. I just don't want to see that.
And that's what makes this a banger fight because we got people split on it. It would still probably be odds minus 200 plus 180, some shit like that too, right? Or like fucking, yeah. Let's see.
So somewhere around there. Yeah, no, you're right. But yeah, we don't need to see it. But and then the other piece of news I was actually getting ready to say was was that right there. Some people were saying that Ilya should probably fight for the title, and some people were saying that he needs to try to earn his way in. What is your opinion on the whole thing for Islam and Ilya? Should they fight or not?
I think I wouldn't be mad if Ilya got a title shot against Islam, but I know Islam said that he wants him to fight at least one time first, and then I think Charles Oliveira said that he was not interested in fighting him either. So tough situation, but I think UFC is just going to. I mean, they're the ones in charge. Let's be real. So if they want Ilya versus Islam, that's what's going to happen. So I don't really think Islam has a say so there, if I'm going to be completely honest. But I think Ilya probably fights one time before getting the title shot at 155.
And honestly, for me, what do I want to see? I actually want to see Ilya get that shot. I am interested to see how that would go. I think the UFC is trying to put the brakes on Ilya Taporia a little bit to say they don't want him to try to pull this Conor McGregor type move to where he goes up to 155. Say if he does get the win against Islam, and now he's basically asking for the world without really getting some skin in the game up at 155, considering the fact that you go to that division and it's the deepest weight class in the division. Kind of going back to the point about Max and Dustin Poirier, I think it's such a deep weight class. I think you can match Max up against just about anybody. And, I think for Ilya, going in there, you can make the argument that Arman Tsarukyan is the rightful title contender. And really, that is the answer. But the UFC is just mad at him for pulling out of the Islam fight. Then you have Justin Gaethje, who just got the big win against Fiziev, who Dana didn't sound too opposed to giving him a title fight after that latest pay-per-view when he beat Fiziev. And, the weight class is stacked. So I would personally like to see Ilya get the shot. But what do I think is going to happen? I do think that they're going to end up making him fight one fight just so they could try to pump the brakes on Ilya pulling the whole power move, similar to how Conor did once he captured both the belts.
Yeah. I like Arman. I'm with Antoine. I like the Arman fight. I think that'd be a good one because Arman pulled out. Ilya's kind of moving up. Let's just kind of see what happens because neither one of them are in the best of the UFC's graces right now. So I could see that Arman versus Ilya. And with this question, Antoine, I think UFC is just trying to say they got these big fights coming. So when the ESPN deal's up, they can get the most money from probably Netflix, if I'm going to be honest. How about you, D-Rose? I don't think that's when all happens. Oh, that was the thing. All right, sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, no, I mean that's, and honestly, really, that a big part of that is kind of the name of the game. I mean, if you look at Dricus Du Plessis, you can make the argument that they haven't been doing him too many favors as far as putting the Strickland rematch and stuff. They gave him the Izzy fight, but I mean, really, that's the name of the game. It's can you perform, but also can you sell? I mean, because the pay-per-views are built to be sold. It's a pay-per-view, so they want to try to garner as much attention as they can. And if you got somebody who, again, in this case, going to 155, Justin Gaethje is a big star right now, and he has not fought against Islam Makhachev. So it's a fresh matchup. He's a big name. I think that's somebody who Islam would not be opposed to fighting because Justin Gaethje just has a big name, and that's something that could potentially sell because Justin Gaethje is a very popular fighter, and so is Islam. So, I mean, for me personally, it's kind of what the UFC has always done. Again, they are trying to, as you said, pump up more for that ESPN or for the end of contract deal for ESPN. But I also think at the same time, they've kind of always been that way because, hey, you got to make the money when you can.
Yeah, I got you. The first news that I had was John Jones said that if he was to agree to sign to fight Tom Aspinall, that he would need it in the contract that he needed 6 months to prepare to fight Tom Aspinall, dude.
Man. Interesting.
That fight's not happening, dude. That fight's not happening. Dude. Like John's already how
I'm
old
surprised
now?
he even
And,
put that in the air, though.
like, it's almost like he's trying to get a shit ton of money, or he's just trying to like almost make it too hard to where it just can't happen, because I don't think that shit happens, man.
I mean, no, I told
crazy.
you for the longest time, John's not going to. I heard, I believe it was Ariel Helwani say the other day that they said John is asking for 30 million. Apparently, that number is not like a fake number. I know that they had, played around with that number, and I know people have said it, in rumors and stuff like that. But they're saying that if he's asking for 30 million and asking for 6 months to train and stuff like that, I mean, for me personally, I know John Jones is that type of dude to want to, get as much studying on his opponents as he does, and that's why he didn't take the short notice fight against Chael Sonnen back in the day, and all this
But
stuff, and blah blah
you're the
blah.
champion right now. You need 6 months to fight a contender.
Well, technically a champion.
Yeah, but
But
like it's like you're the champion. You shouldn't need 6 months to prepare for a contender. You're the champion. Like, I could see if like you were like the fucking number 6 contender going to fight the champion. Okay, I understand why you need 6 months, but you're the champion, dude.
yeah, no, I mean, honestly, I agree with you at the end of the day that I don't think the fight's going to happen. I never thought it was. And it's just because John doesn't need to prove anything. He's already done enough in the sport, and to be honest, I actually agree with him to say, like, hey man, like, Aspinall's a new guy who hasn't really, proven too much. Can the UFC, obviously try to make a bunch of money off of that? Yes, but I feel like a lot of that is because John is going to be carrying a big portion of that, at least for the American audience. Now I know, Tom Aspinall's obviously going to have the UK on his side, but I still think there's a lot unproven about Tom Aspinall that I can kind of understand how John would come into question his resume and say, how are you able to be on the status of me? And, I've been a John basher for a little bit now, but I can understand how John looks and says, hey, you don't have the resume to try to stack yours up against mine and try to say you're better than me.
But at this point,
does nothing.
Why do you have the belt? Why do you have the belt if you're not fighting? Then go like it's almost like, well, what are you doing? Are you fighting or are you not fighting? Like, if you're not fighting, cool, retire and then let Tom have the belt, and then we'll just go on. But this like fucking limbo game like that we've been playing for ever since Cyril gone is just like, dude, what are we doing here? Like, are you going to fight again or no? It took so long to get the fucking Stipe fight. That shit happened, and then didn't look the best there, if I'm going to be honest. But now what? Another 2 years? What's John going to be like? 41, 42 years old? Like, yeah, either fight or retire, man. Like, there's 2 heavyweight champions right now. How crazy is that? Like, what's going on?
And the UFC, Dana's always been one to always bash boxing because boxing has multiple weight class champions and stuff like that. And I mean, how many times has Aspinall defended the interim belt at this point? I mean, I don't know how you can continue to defend an interim belt. You have to unify it at some point with the undisputed champion. I do agree with you to say, hey, John does need to hang him up. I just think it's kind of like an ego play at this point. Hey, can I ride the course? Can I try to get what I want? Because I do think at the end of the day, if they if they meet his demand with the money, he takes the fight. But I think he's just playing basically every last string he can.
He's not helping his case any, because like, if it's not Tom, then who is worthy, John? Who is worthy for the title shot?
Yeah.
Because if not, then you're not fighting, So it's like either fight or retire. That's just my, like, once we get to that point, what are we doing? What?
I think he's waiting for DC to come out of retirement so they can try to run the trilogy back with each other.
He's fucking waiting.
Dude, DC's going to have to cut
to the UFC.
Dude, DC's going to have to cut like over 100 pounds to make 265, which is absolutely crazy.
Right, dude. Crazy. Anyway, let's get into anything else that we have here, D Rose. Anything here stand out to you? We have Bryce Mitchell saying that in his dreams, he's been come to by demons and these sexy ladies that are trying to get his attention ever since the press conference. What's your thoughts on this right here, D Rose? Or have you seen?
Yeah, I have not. He is an absolute whack job. And, yeah, that's people are going to be so happy to see, Joan Silva potentially hurt him. I mean, I think that fight's going to be a lot closer than what people think, but there's going to be a lot of people that's going to be excited to see him get clobbered.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna probably have John Silva 3 or decision there, but I think a lot of people want him to probably finish Bryce Mitchell. Ian Machado Gary wants to return to International Fight Week. Cool. Yeah. What does this say?
Hey, Jeremy Stevens back in the UFC. What was your opinion on that?
Oh yeah, I guess that was
Little Heathen.
Yeah. Jeremy Stevens reveals UFC Fight a 1-fight deal, D-Rose. Yeah, that surprised me. I fucking sent it to you. Short notice. Jeremy Stevens, May 3rd, back in the UFC. I forgot who he was fighting, though.
Mason Jones.
Who was it, man? Oh, yeah.
Mason Jones.
Mason Jones also signed back to the UFC as well because he that fucking did get cut. My thing is, Steven older now, like you're not going to make a title run or anything. So kind of like what's the goal? Just get a few fun fights? If so, then cool. But, cool to see Jeremy Stevens fight again in the UFC. I don't think he knocks out Mason Jones, but hey, if he was the win, that's probably how he would do it. How about you?
Hey, well, I'll say this. So I heard because I did think it was a little strange, 1-fight deal coming back to the UFC. So apparently he said that he has this thing where he's betting on himself. So a lot of the older vet UFC fighters usually have just a flat pay at a certain point, and usually the beginners, kind of contender series type guys have show and win money. And Jeremy Stevens even said that he accepted show and win money because he's that confident in himself. And he didn't full right.
How old was Jeremy Stevens? Like 37, 38?
37, 38. But he didn't outright say it, but he kind of hinted at, hey, there's a potential that if he comes out here and gets a devastating performance, Iowa is his home crowd. Yeah, Iowa is his home crowd, and that he might try to angle for a Conor McGregor fight if he's able to get a big win. So I could see that as, a potential comeback fight for Conor McGregor.
Oh yeah, because they did fucking start off in the BKFC shit, didn't they?
And they kept talking about, hey, we're going to fight. And Jeremy Stevens had talked about, hey, he brought up in the press conference when he did the who the fuck is that guy thing to him as well. So he had told how there was a little bit of a backstory, and they had to face off in BKFC. They've been talking smack to each other since then. So, hey, he's coming into the UFC. If he gets a brutal knockout in front of his home crowd in Iowa and gets a big pop, there's a chance that he'll call out Conor McGregor after that fight. And again, I could see that being a fight that McGregor would come back for, one, and that would actually be a fight that I could potentially see McGregor winning, two. So, and I honestly think it would deliver because Jeremy Stevens, he might not be the best, but that dude ain't going out there to BS. He's going out there to hurt you. So yeah, that could be potentially a fun fight. So I like the angle that Jeremy Stevens is coming from. I really do.
Yeah, man. Not a bad idea. Not a bad idea, if I'm gonna be honest. We got Uncle Ive saying, Alex, when you're ready, sign it. Dude, Ali needs to get off of Uncle Ive's fucking Twitter, dude.
Yes. Because that's the thing, because Uncle Ive is not even a trash talker. It's just Ali.
No. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just Ali on his Twitter the whole time.
There was one down here where I fucking commented on, and it was this. Uncle Ive, I think you're a fraud, and So many guys deserve it more than you. You need to win some fights. This guy's a terrible fighter. Talking about you, dude. And like, I can't find it here. Like, but I was like, Ollie's like fucking gonna get Uncle I have treated like them trees, dude. Because here he don't play that shit.
He's a real samurai.
Right. Let's see what else we got here. I don't think Kevin Holland is the most active fighter in the UFC since 2020. He's had 20 fights in the past 5 years. Dude, that's crazy.
That is nuts. I mean, that's 4 years, so that's pretty damn active considering the fact that some guys barely struggle to get 2 or 3.
Right, dude. And anything else we have here? Everyone disappointed after Alex lost. Makhachev and Oliveira have no interest in an Ilya Topuria fight. Yeah, so that ain't happening. We saw this already. Suga versus Merab, UFC 316. Care about that at all still?
Yeah, I believe we talked about it, but again, I understand the matchup from a money perspective, but not excited about it.
What's your thoughts on this, D-Rose, that Frank Ocean doesn't put out music very often, but he is, I guess when he came out, it was this big story of Frank Ocean was like one of the first like openly gay artist, if you will. And he put out a snippet of a music video the other day that is just basically Peyton Talbot like ass naked in his pool, and Peyton Talbot like when he's cutting weight. It's just really weird, if I'm gonna be honest. And it doesn't help the allegations of the whole Peyton Talbot situation, dude. Do you care to discuss this at all, man?
You know what? Whichever way your boat floats, hey, I'm cool with. I'm cool with. But if there's one thing that I could go without ever seeing again, is Peyton Talbot's ass. That's one thing I can go without ever seeing again.
I agree. I agree, man. But yeah, just kind of weird. I did not swipe to play it. I'm not going to do that to you guys. We have.
Thank you for not getting. And you probably would have gotten like some type of strike on YouTube for showing too much more. I'm surprised we didn't get pulled from playing that right there.
Yeah, I mean, I just popped it up on the screen for a moment. We all right. We all right. And Jalen Turner removed from the roster, but I'm pretty sure we already knew that. And I saw him in an interview this week that said that it's been about a week since the decision that he's made, and he don't feel any different so far. That he thinks that he's just move on. That he doesn't think that he is going to come back, dude. That he's done. All right, let's see.
Yeah, no, and
here.
I mean, he seemed to stand on it too. So I mean, if he's that adamant about it, then I mean, I can't I can't put it past him.
Fair enough. It's pretty cool. The Peyton branching off with stars like that. Yeah, I think it's because of other reasons, Antoine. I don't know if it's because he's a star.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe I don't know. I'm not even going to suggest anything how they met. Nothing. I ain't suggesting none of that.
And I also heard that basically Dana said that if he didn't get something done before International Fight Week with John and Tom, then he was going to end up stripping John of the belt. You think that's true?
Well, I mean, honestly, I mean, you got to make a move at some point in time, at heavyweight, just because, you have Tom on ice when, Tom's ready to go. I mean, Tom, clearly gets all the first round finishes that he does. And, he's been ready to go for a little bit. and you're putting him on ice to accommodate to John. But I even saw, Tom Aspinall, I just saw quoted comments from him saying, recently that, hey, he's ready to go. So if he's ready to go, the UFC has a schedule to accommodate to. And if John cannot, work within that schedule, then yeah, they're just going to keep it moving and business as usual. So yeah, I would not be surprised. And honestly, I would really prefer it at this point.
Yeah, I think the only way that he strips him of the belt is if he also strips him of his pants and his underwear and starts slobbing on his knob too. That's the only way. It's true.
Hey, well, like Ethan said, hey, Dana, really hasn't been that loudly as he was previously for, hey, he's the number 1 pound for pound fighter right now, currently, even though he hasn't really fought and been active, and now with Islam, because Islam's active, even though activity never meant anything in the first place. And yeah, Dana's kind of all over the place, but I agree that at least he's not slopping up John publicly like he was previously.
Yeah, man. So that is it for the news for the week. So let's get into the fight picks and shit for this week. Let me share my screen. That would help. So share a screen. Let me not share the sound because we get commercials on Tapology. But let's get into it, D-Rose. So this weekend we have UFC Fight Night London, headlined by Sean Brady taking on Leon Edwards. I swear I'm dyslexic. I read everything backwards. It's going to take place Saturday, March 22nd at 1 p.m. East Coast time in the U.S., but the event will be taking place at the O2 Arena in London, England. We've got 13 fights to talk about, headlined by Leon Rocky Edwards taking on Sean Brady. In the co-event, we've got Polish Power, Jan Blachowicz taking on the Black Jag, Carlos Alberg. We've got the Trailblazer, Kevin Holland taking on Gunny Nelson. We've got the Meatball, Molly McCann taking on Alexa Finara. We've got Jordan Vucinic, a few tattoos from getting knocked out by Drew Dober, taking on Chris Duncan. I forgot his fight name. Anyway, we've got Nathaniel the Prospect taking on Morgan, the Last Pirate Charrier. We've got the Black Country Banger, Jai Herbert taking on Chris Taco Padilla. We've got Lone Kavanaugh taking on Felipe Daytona Dos Santos, or Felipe Daytona. Anyway, we've got Marcin Tiber taking on Mick Parkin. We've got Andre Pulayev taking on Christian Leroy Duncan, or CLD. We've got Shauna Mama B. Bannett taking on Pooja Tamar. We've got Colin Loughran taking on Nathan Fletcher. And our opening fight of the night, we've got Guru Kataladze taking on Kaiwi Fernandez. Fights that did fall off the card were Molly McCann versus Estela Nunez, Alonzo Minifield, Omar, and Leon versus Jack Della. Thoughts on the card as a whole, D-Rose? We back in London this week.
It's a solid card, man. And like you said, in London, in front of a crowd, so we're going to get some pop from the crowd for some of the performances. I think matchup for potential squash matches. You can see some of the odds and some of the lines this week, and you'll see that, but you'll also see a couple of closely contested fights to where I really think that some of these fights can deliver as well as the performances, and it could be for a fun night.
All right. We got Antoine. Got to cover the Lakers game, so I'll be in and out, boys. So shout out you, Antoine. We appreciate you stopping by either way, brother. So first fight of the night, we've got Guram Kutateladze taking on Kaiwi Fernandez. The Georgian Viking, Guram Kutateladze, is 13-4 overall, 33 years old, 5'11", and a 72-inch reach, while Kaiwi Fernandez is 9-2 overall, 30 years old, 5'9", and a 73-inch reach. Currently, odds for this fight, minus 425 for Guram Kutateladze. Kaiwi Fernandez is plus 330. You're underdog. I think I've seen Kaiwi Fernandez in the UFC 2 times. Yeah, UFC record 1-1. Looked all right one time, but in the other fight, don't remember off the top of my head who it was. He just got taken down and just can't up, dude. He's just going to lay on his back. He's not really anything special at all, if I'm going to be honest. And Guram minus 25, shitty line, but it makes sense, dude. So for me, it's Guram either complete domination via wrestling, but also Kyle Fernandez doesn't really have any striking on the feet either. So if it's on the feet, dude, I think Guram doesn't really finish anyone at all, but I think if there is a person that he can finish, it is Kyle Fernandez. So I think Guram pretty much any way that he wants here. But just to be safe, let's go 3 or decision for me. So Guram 3 or decision. D Rose, how about you, man?
Yeah, I'll keep it short and sweet here. I do think that Fernandez, he's a decent fighter. I know he's got some pretty decent kicks. His hands aren't the greatest in terms of his striking. I do think that if Cowie's able to implement, I think really putting that pressure on. And really, I think if he could stop Guram's takedowns, I think that's the biggest thing because
I don't think he can.
And I'm with you there too. I don't think he can. I do think at the end of the day that Cowie will have to put forward the offensive wrestling in order for him to really see the victory here. But I think Guram's the bigger, more well experienced guy in the UFC at this point. Like to see a little bit more activity out of him. I hate that he's only kind of fighting in this kind of seems like once a year or so to where we haven't really been able to see him hit his full potential. But I think he can have a good performance this weekend. I'm with you, round 3 or decision for Guram.
Fair enough. Me and D Rose both on Guram Kutateladze. Yeah, dude, and I think the reason why is because he's tested, and when he fought Moose Gamrot, did he get the robbery decision win? Yeah. When he fought Elvis Brenner, he kind of broke 8, but it's because Elvis Brenner was putting the pressure on him. I don't think Kyle Fernandez has any part of the Elvis Brenner dog in him, right?
I am with you.
Okay. All right. So anyway, me and D Rose both on Guram Kutateladze 3 or decision. We'll move on to the next one. We've got Kalen Offren taking on Nathan Fletcher. Kalen Ladon Lofren is 9-2 over, all 20 years old, 5'6" and a 68-inch reach, while Nathan Fletcher is 9-1 overall, 27 years old, 5'7" and a 70-inch reach. Currently, odds for this fight +112 for Nathan Fletcher, -108 for Kalen Lofren. Over under is set at 2.5, -238 for the over, and +180 for the under. Yeah, D Rose, if there was a couple fights on this card that I have a hard time leaning, kind of going back and forth, so I'm kind of probably just going to step back and I'm probably not going to have too much invested on this fight. This would be one of those. So with that being said, man, if you would like to break it down, I'll let you go first. Maybe you have a lean. If not, then just give my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I'm with you in terms of not necessarily having the strongest of leans here, but I am the way that I kind of see the fight. I think Kalen Lofren, kind of like, even for like a smaller weight class, he's kind of like a big plotty type guy. Pretty decent boxing, pretty decent leg kicks for the most part from what I've been able to see. He does not have the greatest head movement. Now, he's got the most gigantic head in the world for a man that is his size. I'm a man with a rather large head myself, so hey, join the club here. But yeah, the Colin Lofren's got an absolute noggin on him, so it's going to be hard to hurt him. I think where Nathan Fletcher, where it seems like he really shines, is in the grappling game. He does want to get the fight to the ground. He's got okay striking, but he really needs to get the fight to the ground to win the fight. Colin Lofren, he's a big block of a dude for the weight class. So could I see potential that he could stuff some takedowns? Maybe, but he does leave himself open to be hit. I could see Nathan Fletcher, even if he does struggle with getting a takedown, I could see a lot of clinching, holding against the fence, a lot of fence riding, stuff like that. I think Colin Lofren is going to be too tough to finish, but I think that Nathan Fletcher can really outwork Colin Lofren here. So I'm going to go Nathan Fletcher. Not super confident, but I'll go Nathan Fletcher by decision and probably a PBF.
All right. So for me, I agree with you on the Colin Lofren side. I'm surprised you didn't say it. He's basically shaped like a fire hydrant, dude. He's just the big ball of fucking muscle and a big old noggin, dude. But as you said, did you know this fight is a rematch, D-Rose?
That I did not. No.
Yeah, they fought back in, I think, 2017, 2019. They were both amateurs then. Since then, you know, Colin Loughran's went on, got in the UFC, I think via the Contender Series, as where Nathan Fletcher went on the Ultimate Fighter. The reason I'm going back and forth on this fight, man, is because Colin Loughran is a pretty decent fighter, dude, and he's good takedown defense, solid strikes. But if you look at the last fight, him against Jake Hadley's a 125er moving up, and it's like Jake Hadley was cleanly outstriking Colin Loughran, which was expected. But what surprised me was the ease that Jake Hadley was able to call Loughran down, dude. So I think if you have any sort of solid chain wrestling, you can maybe get Colin Loughran down. So I don't like it, but I'm going to agree with you too, D-Rose. I'm going to go Nathan Fletcher, 3-or decision, or probably decision. And so the PBF piss break fight of the week. I think this is about to be boring as shit either way. But give me Nathan Fletcher to wrestle Colin Loughran every round, because as you said, he's not a good striker. He needs to get it to the ground to do anything. But Colin Loughran's tough, as you said, so I don't expect a finish there. Me and D-Rose both on Nathan Fletcher via decision, but I am not confident in that shit at all.
Definitely not my picks this weekend as far as bets.
Yeah, by no means a casual, but you guys put me to shame and never heard of them. It's all right, man. This card starts early. Yeah, 1 p.m. on the East Coast. I like Fletcher in this one, says Dave, and give me the Dave. That's 2 different people. Dave's going for both of them.
Hey, he makes sure he's got both sides of that covered.
Yeah,
he's just hedging it. He's just hedging his bet. That's all he's doing.
Yeah, one of these two who has the more potential, I would say Loughran, but I'm not high on either. How about you, D-Rose?
I mean, I would say I'm with you. I don't really see either of them being top contenders. I mean, they could be decent fighters in the UFC, but in terms of potential, a gun to my head, Fletcher, but I don't really have high expectations for either.
All right. So we will. What did they say? I thought I remember Fletcher was from Ireland. I didn't even look. Maybe. Well, he was on Connor's. No, Colin. Wait, no. I don't remember who was on fucking Connor's team from Tough, if to be honest. Anyway. Let's move on. Third fight of the night, we got Shauna Mama B Bannon taking on Pooja the Cyclone. Mar, dude. We got a banger here. Shauna Bannon, 6-1 overall, 31 years old, 5'5" and a 65-inch reach, while the Cyclone Pooja Tamar, 9-4 overall, 31 years old, 5'4" and a 59-inch reach. Currently, odds for this fight -166 for Mama Shauna Bannon. The Cyclone Pooja Damar is +140. Your underdog. Over/under is set at 2.5. Over is -560. The under is +7. Yeah, for me, I'm not overthinking this one. I see a lot of people this week on Pooja Damar, and truly, I don't know how. I'm going to be honest. She's really short. She's got a 59-inch reach, and her weapon is a front kick. And does that make sense, being 5'4", 59-inch reach, and having a front kick as your best weapon? No. She's on her back foot the entire time. And how do you throw front kicks on your back foot? I don't know, but she does it. So for me, Shauna Bannon is the better fighter here. She's got this taekwondo stance, bounces in and out, and I think she just plays tag with Pooja Tamar. She tags her face, tags a leg, throws a front kick. All 3 rounds, just plays tag. She doesn't have enough power to hurt Pooja Tamar's feelings. So there ain't no finish going to happen here. So just give me Shauna B just touching Pooja Tamar more than Pooja Tamar touches Shauna Bannon. Give me Shauna Bannon via decision here. Which way are you going here, man?
Yeah, this is going to be your second consecutive PBF right here. I do think that give me just a second here.
Look at Dave. Kumar is utter.
Yeah, yeah. No, this is your second PBF in a row. So if y'all got stuff to do early, if y'all got stuff early on to do, if y'all gotta, go to the grocery store real quick, if y'all, if y'all want to grab some brunch, because I know it's an early card. These are going to be the two fights to do it for here for the last fight and this one. I'm not going to lie. I'm not super confident in making a pick either way here. The only reason why I can understand people picking Puja Tumar is because it's Shauna Bannon. I'm sorry. Like, for me personally, I'm just not the most enthused by Shauna Bannon. She did beat Alice
Ardeline in her last fight. And if anything, she's a big girl, it's tough.
I just go, she's tough, cool. I just go back to that, I don't know. I just go back to that Bruna Brazil fight, and it's just like she just did absolutely nothing in that fight. I know that fight you said a little bit ago.
Bruna's good, man. You can hate on her if you want.
Bruna's solid. What I'm saying is Shauna Bannon literally did nothing that whole fight. And I was basically told that she was a solid fighter. And at least Puja Tumar, I can give her credit that she is a little bit unorthodox in her style and her striking, and her punches are basically straight punches and they look super awkward, but hey, she's going for it, man. So I'll give her credit. Give me Puja Tumar here. I think Shauna Bannon is absolute butt cheeks as well. Puja. Yeah, I think Bannon is butt cheeks as well. Give me Puja Tumar here.
All right, D-Rose. Well, I guess I need to take this down. I forgot I'm not the pick champ this week. D-Rose the big, but for that pick, I'm about to be the pick champ back this week because I got the pick. And my guy, that one's going in there. That's going in there whether you want it to or not. That one's in there.
Hey, I'm man,
cool. D-Rose. She's cool. Bad. She's bad. But hey, when this confident, I could be wrong. She's only a -160 favorite, right? Puja Tumar.
Let's go, Ethan Paul.
It's Saturday.
That's what I'm talking about.
All right, first different pick of the night. I'm on Shauna Bannon, D-Rose on Puja Tumar. Up next, we got Andre Pulev taking on Christian Leroy Duncan. Andre Pulev, 9-2, 27 years old, 6'4", and a 78.5-inch reach, while Christian Leroy Duncan is 10-2 overall, 29 years old, 6'2", and a 79-inch reach. Currently, odds for this fight -550 for Christian Leroy Duncan. Andre Pulev is +410. Over under is 1.5. Over -160. Under +124. I'm not spending a whole bunch of time here. Andre Pulev, from what I've seen, he's not a good fighter, dude. It just kind of seems like UFC maybe trying to build up Christian Leroy Duncan after dropping a couple, dude. I think basically if you are a good fighter with a solid game plan that's tough and you're persistent and you don't wilt to just the big guy in front of you, you can beat Christian Leroy Duncan. So the two guys that haven't done that were Armin Petrosian. I saw one more. Who else beat him in the UFC, D-Rose?
For some reason, I was going to say Petrosky, but
nah, I don't know. But they just didn't wilt to his pressure, and so he's kind of this low level weight.
RoboCop.
He's going to be fucking RoboCop. So he's going to be all these low level fucking middleweights. But when he gets to the rankings at all, I think that's when he kind of meets his match. But this week we got Andre Pulev that's number 42 million in Russia. So I believe Andre Pulev is probably on that lower level fighter. So Christian Leroy Duncan's probably going to win this fight. I think he's a fucking idiot. He's a dumbass. He plays around in the fights way too much, throws way too much spinning shit that has no chance of landing at all. Just kind of fucks around in there. So tries to be impressive, but kind of looks like an idiot. Give me Christian Leroy Duncan. 3-year decision here. I don't think he finishes Andre Pulev early because, once again, he fucks around too much. So probably could finish him early, but he's going to because he's going to stand in there, throw a bunch of spinning shit. And then once, maybe later on in the fight, we could see ground and pound finish. But for me, it's Christian Leroy Duncan 3-year decision here. But I mean, as about as 550. I mean, that you kind of have to pick a prop. Yeah.
No, because I don't have to bet this fight. Because I mean, why would I have to bet a Christian Leroy Duncan fight? Yeah,
Fair.
I refuse to put any money towards this because there's no value whatsoever. And for me personally, if you don't go by decision, which I think would be probably the play, I don't really know if there would be any value worth playing towards this. I do think that, long story short, it's set up for CLD to win. I'm picking CLD. So I do think that Christian Leroy Duncan gets it done. But as you said, for me personally, he just kind of plays around in there a little bit too much and almost kind of like he's just like, I get it, you're supposed to be having fun in the octagon. You got to make the most of it. But it just looks like he's just kind of like, almost kind of like lightly sparring at times. Like he's just kind of like not taking it too serious or anything like that. And, you know, I just feel like in moments like that, that's where you can end up getting caught. And I think that's really what ended up happening in that RoboCop fight because RoboCop really, you know, if there's one thing that we can give RoboCop credit for, he ain't in there to mess around, dude. He's going in there to hurt you. And yeah, you know, that was how Christian Leroy Duncan was able to lose that last fight. So I do think that, you know, if CLD doesn't do the little dancing around on the outside and getting his footwork and stuff off, could he lose? Sure, but Christian Leroy Duncan should be able to get it done by decision this weekend.
All right, me and D-Rose both on CLD, late or by decision. Dave, didn't Tumar win her last fight by Otto Robert? Yes, she lost. I mean, in my opinion, she lost to Hayani Amanda, but judges gave it to her. Nate says he got Duncan. Antoine wants to know, how do you guys feel about cage champions as of late? CLD has struggled to beat Ian Gary's love to the hype. Yeah, I've been on this opinion for a while. I don't think Cage Warriors dudes are that good, and I think if they go up against a wrestler and they get exposed real quick, there's only a few that have stood out, being Ian Gary and Ethan Paul says Patty as well. Yeah. I think they just lack takedown defense. That's my thing. How about you, D-Rose?
Yeah, lack takedown defense. I mean, they, you know, a lot of times they do have, you know, pretty good striking for the most part, so I do give them credit for that. But I don't want to say like heart or anything like that, but a little bit of that dog, you know, you got to have a little bit of that dog in you, man. And you can make the argument some of these Cage Warrior guys kind of have that same element as well. You don't see them when the going gets tough. Does the tough get going, or do they get out of there? And you know, you can see some of the Cage Warrior guys. A lot of times they're out of there more than going with the tough.
Dave knows me. That ain't the Cage Warriors or Peruvians. Dave knows me. Dave knows. Like they get taken
I
down,
am with
man.
you. That is one thing you've said that I have agreed with you on, is that the Cage Warriors guys, you got to be very selective with who you're riding with those guys coming in. And I believe me and you both were kind of pretty hyped on Ian Gary coming in because we did see his skills and we knew that he trained with they changed their names so many times, but Matt Humes and those guys. Yeah, so you know they come from a good training camp, trained with Gilbert Burns and guys like that. So yeah, that's why I think we have pretty good confidence in them there. Yeah, they changed the name of it so much I can't keep up with it, but yeah, you got to be very selective with some of those guys you pick coming out of Cage Warriors.
Yeah. All right. So up next we do have Marcin Tybura taking on undefeated Mick Parkin. Marcin Tybura is 26-9 overall, 39 years old, 6'3" and a 78-inch reach, while Mick Parkin is 10-0 overall, 9 years old, 6'4" and a 79-inch reach. Currently, odds for this fight are Marcin Tybura plus 100, Mick Parkin minus 120. Over under is 2.5. Over minus 154. Under is plus 120. D Rose, I'll let you break this down because I know me and you are on the same side here, so I'll let you talk about it, man.
Yeah, I think that for me, I think the way that I kind of see this fight, Mick Parkin is, young guy. I know it's typically brought up every time that he fights. He trains with Tom Aspinall. He's one of Tom Aspinall's main training partners and whatnot. They couldn't fight utter oppositely. If oppositely is a word, they could not fight more contrast to one another, because I think that Mick Parkin doesn't necessarily have the finishing ability that Tom Aspinall has, and I don't think he has nearly the submission skills he has. You could say Mick Parkin is maybe a poor man's Tom Aspinall, just in terms of pretty good athlete. He's got good footwork, pretty good boxing for the most part. Yeah, big body dude, strong guy. Good clean boxing. He doesn't have the most power, so he's not like this guy with this big killer instinct. I know he got a knockout win in his last fight, but that was winning against Dresky as well. So that guy.
But dude, I know there's a lot of hate on fucking Lucas Dresky, but he's a tough guy. He's only been fucking snoozed by fucking Waldo and then fucking Mick Parkin. That's it.
Yeah, but you got snoozed by Mick Parkin when I think me and you both were heavy on Mick Parkin round 3 of decision in that last fight.
Yeah.
He knocked him out early. We were
doing the Chelsea Chandler, right? Like he had him fucking running the other way.
Believe me, I was heavy on Mick Parkin round 3 of decision, and once he got the first round knockout, I'm like, of course Lucas Dresky got knocked out. Why would he not get knocked out? But I think for Marcin Tybura, a super experienced guy in the UFC. He's fought the best of the best in terms of the heavyweight division. He's fought, big punchers, grapplers, you name it. He's been there, done that, and he's well tested. Great fighter just in terms of, well-rounded ability, pretty good striker, got good wrestling, he's got good submissions. Me personally, I think where this fight comes down to, I think Mick Parkin has the better footwork. I think he has the better boxing. Marcin Tybura, he has been known to stop the up-and-comers before, but I just got to think that, closing in on 40, I know that's not a death sentence at heavyweight per se, but I think Mick Parkin is a faster guy. I think the cleaner boxer of the two, where Marcin Tybura wins this fight, is if he gets Mick Parkin down to the ground. I think that's where Mick Parkin, working with Tom Aspinall, big heavyweight who's a good wrestler in my opinion, can really pay dividends for Mick Parkin coming into this fight. So I think Mick Parkin by decision for me is the way to go here. If I got to pick a way to go, but I love the Mick Parkin money line this week. Give me a Mick Parkin here.
Yeah, man. I pretty much agree with everything that you said, man. One thing that I do want to point out that you didn't was that Marcin Tybura got armbarred from guard in the last fight, dude. It's like, you don't do that unless you're at a fucking women's 115 or it just doesn't work for dudes. Like, and to be armbarred from guard at heavyweight is just a bad look, man. Just a look. As you said, Marcin Tybura, almost 40, getting kind of near the end of his run. And if he comes there with a terrible haircut or comes out to the Red Hot Chili Peppers, I know it's Dunzo. Any Polish dude that comes out to the Red Hot Chili Peppers, they lose. And Marcin Tybura with that fucking terrible haircut, he's going to lose that as well. So for me, it's Mick Parkin, 3-or decision, just like D Rose. I think he gets up and just controls Marcin Tybura all 3 rounds. Probably going to be pretty boring, but Mick Parkin via decision for me. We got Matt, you dipping into royalty when it comes out. Hell yeah, brother. I think Sugar is coming back hard to reclaim the crown. I hope so. And what up, D? Yeah.
What up, Matty Mac? What up?
Yeah, he Tops Royalty comes out March, April 4th. And Sugar, hopefully getting the belt back. Shout out Matty Mac for stopping by here. Where do you guys think Ian would be at if he never moved the shoot box? I think he find some kind of gym somewhere. I think he's a good athlete, and no matter where he goes, he'll be all right. Like Harry Hardwick's the new star for Cage Warriors. I like LFA, honestly. I want to get in the Cage Titans more. Dude, Antoine, here's the thing, man. It's like just watching, maybe, but for me, if I'm gonna watch a fight, I do like to bet on the majority of them because it just makes it a little bit more fun, and for me to bet on something, then I need to do a little bit of research. And I already been like 3-4 days a week researching UFC fights and shit like that. So if I was to add in like Cage Titans, LFA, Cage Warriors, even BKFC, dude, PFL. I just don't have any time to do anything at all. I would just be dedicated my whole life to like watching fight tape and shit like that. And dude, UFC kills me sometimes because there are some pretty low level people in the UFC like Pujamara and Sean Bannon. You and Gary Vee somewhere watching their guys bang his wife. Ethan says hot take, but I'm genuinely excited for JFL. I just don't think it's ever going to happen. If I'm going to be honest, I don't think it's real.
I'm with you. I don't think JFL is a real thing.
Yeah. Mike Parkin hasn't really impressed me, and Antoine, I think Ian has still as a future champion. Shavkat showed that fight. Yeah, that was. I know that like it was a real eye opener for both fighters in that fight, and I know D Rose got a lot of opinions after that fight. So I know you're excited for if Bilal fights Shavkat or Ian Carey, man. So me and Rose both on McParkin. Let's move on to Loner Kavanaugh versus Felipe Dos Santos. And this is probably the other fight on the card where it's like, oh, I've been going back and forth. Maybe I should just stay away from this one. But with that being said, we've got Loner Kavanaugh that is undefeated, 8-0, taking on Felipe Daytona or Felipe Dos Santos. He is 8-2 overall. Loner Kavanaugh, 25 years old, 5'4", 67-inch reach, while Felipe Daytona is 24 years old, 5'7", and a 70-inch reach. D-Rose, a lot of fighters been losing these this year, and if there's one that I could see happen on this card, it's this one, dude. Loner Kavanaugh is a good fighter. His name may fool you because it sounds Irish, but he's representing the Chinese flag there, so I believe his parents are Chinese and Irish, but represents China, dude. Comes out to bang, dude. Almost like a hybrid between a Cody Steele that we saw him lose his O not too long ago and a Hyder Emil. Like kind of like that same fight style. Kind of like foot on the gas, big power, solid wrestling, but maybe looks like he could gas a little bit later on in the fight. On the other hand, Felipe Daytona came in noticing against Manel Kopp and kind of surprised a lot of people. And then on his next fight, he was a big favorite against Victor Altamirano at Elevation and got a robbery decision win. Because I think most people thought Victor Altamirano won the fight, but Felipe Daytona ended up getting that nod there. But that was at Elevation. So this is not at Elevation. So what's this look like? I know the hometown guy technically probably going to be Loner Kavanaugh here. Probably going to be more fans there cheering for him. But something tells me this week that we see another O drop this weekend. We've seen Felipe Daytona look good, dude. And if I could describe one person, it's just basically like a, Diet Charles Oliveira, if you will. Small, not as potent, but still like Charles Oliveira. Trains out of Shootbox Camp with Oliveira and basically same techniques, solid Muay Thai. If you get him on the ground, he's going to look for subs anywhere. But for me, I think Felipe Daytona just clearly outpoints Loner Kavanaugh all 3 rounds, man. Maybe even hurts him later on in the fight, but give me Felipe Daytona to let's go Felipe Daytona via decision this week. What about you, D-Rose?
Yeah, this was a tough fight for me to pick. And I mean, for me, honestly, the betting line is something a little bit of a head scratcher. I don't think that the Loner Kavanaugh should be that big of a favorite. I do think a lot of it does have to play with the fact that Felipe Dos Santos, I'm not going to lie, when you said that he beat Victor Altamirano, I went back and looked because I was like, I'm pretty sure he lost that fight. I was like, I swear, in my head, I had that he lost that fight. So when you said that, I looked it up and I was like, damn, he did win that fight. But I thought and then you mentioned that he had lost. I was like, yeah, that's right. It was a robbery because I had in my head that he lost. And so I think, gamblers you might be a little bit more shy on placing the money on Dos Santos, but definitely shouldn't be that big of a dog. He's super tough. As you said, kind of like a Diet Charles Oliveira, if you could say. Loner Kavanaugh for me, I mean, I'm just, again, we talk about the Cage Warrior guys. I don't know how super proven they are. For me, Felipe Dos Santos does make mistakes in a lot of fights. You know, and he does get a little too content on his back when he does get taken down. I know Loner Kavanaugh, I know he's a better striker than wrestler, but I know he's got the wrestling in his back pocket. I think if he's able to work in the wrestling, man, I do think that that's going to be his path to victory. Give me Loner Kavanaugh. Give me Loner Kavanaugh by decision. I think that I think it's going to be, again, potentially a little bit of a slower fight, but I think that Felipe Dos Santos, again, a lot of the shootbox guys get a little bit too comfortable on their back, try to throw up subs and stuff like that, and really let the time pass while the guy in top position is really riding out the round. I think that's where Leonard Kavanaugh can take advantage and win the fight.
I could see it, man. It's kind of the reason why I've been flipping forth. Odds on this fight -305. Leonard Kavanaugh. Felipe Daytona is +245. The underdog. Over under is 2.5. Over -270. Under is +200. There we go. Missed one. Nah, I feel you, man. What's the original scene do you watch most? For me, it's just watching tape on UFC fighters coming into the UFC. So I go back and I try to watch the last 3 or 5 fights. But so usually it's either CFFC, Cage Warriors, or there's one more that I can't. What's the Brazilian Jungle Fight? Maybe it's Jungle Fight. I'm not sure. Anyway, are there any regional scenes? I think the close one to me is CFC. Right, D Rose. Do you see anything else ever come over that way?
I think there's one. There's one in Whitville around here. It's like some regional fights. Might be Titans of the Cage. I think that might be what it's called.
Cage Titans.
I'll have to look it up. I believe it's Titans.
I used to work with a dude. Funny story. I used to work with a dude that was an amateur fighter, and like stayed in fucking contact and shit. He actually fought for fucking CFFC up in fucking Lynchburg quite a few times, and then up north, like the Philly area, like the Jersey area, like a few times there too.
I
Christian Lights
I knew, dude.
Leonard or the Thunder Thief Christian Leonard.
Yeah, Christian Leonard. Yeah, that's what I was going to say. I knew him. He fought for CFFC. Titans of the Cage it's an amateur promotion here, but it is based out of Whitville, so they do have cards on every couple months or so. But I'm not driving 45 minutes to watch a bunch of amateurs fight.
Yeah, gotcha. I got you, man. Yeah, I want to see fucking him times, dude. Yeah, like I would say me and him were solid friends, dude. Because like fucking we fucking worked at Wendy's. Worked at Wendy's together, dude. Yeah. Anyway, done as an Aussie. It pains me to yeah. I think so, man. I think Diego wins. Anyway, Antoine Ho fights on the second. On the 22nd, I hope he can bounce back from the Kavanaugh loss. Yeah. I wish there was MMA around me. I would even be interested in competing, but I'm Royal Kentucky. Hey, man, there's always fucking street beefs. You can fight wherever you want to, man. Ethan signed up Rough and Rowdy. There you go. Says D Rose. And then I've got CFN FC near me, says Austin.
That's the comment I was laughing at. I didn't want to ruin it. I had to let you read it before.
Yeah.
But that was Austin. That's a good one, man. I like that. Man, we got a couple. Hey, you know how Pulaski is around here, man. We got a couple spots around here that's Meth Head FC, and man, them people will throw down.
You
for
sink
their...
down here, dude. You fucking sink down here, dude.
Fucking, rough.
Dude, there's one day that I can drive down the street where I don't see like a crackhead talking to someone or like doing a TikTok dance with no phone. It's just like, what's going on? I don't know what's happening. It's just every day, man. Going to Starbucks, get fucking bothered. Hey, man, can I just get my coffee without you fucking bothering me, dude? But it is what it is, man. That's the city that I live in. Anyway, moving on. We've got Black Country Banger, Jai Herbert taking on Taco, Chris Padilla. Jai Herbert, 13-5-1 overall, 36 years old, 6'1" and a 77-inch reach, while Taco Chris Padilla is 29 years old, 5'9" and a 74-inch reach. Currently, odds for this fight are -110 apiece. Under set at 2.5. The over is -135. The under is +105. How do I start this? So let's start like this. When Jai Herbert first came into the UFC, he was, as his name implies, he was a banger, dude. Up there throwing heat, head kicks, all that good shit. And then he fought Ilia Topuria, man. And in that first round, the Black Country banger was still there. But in the second round, dude, when Ilia Topuria absolutely fucking melted Jai Herbert, I think that took all the banger out of the Black Country banger. He's just now the Black Country stay safe point fighter, if you will, because ever since he's got snoozed by Ilia, dude, he's changed his style completely. He doesn't really throw. He throws, but it's not as reckless as he used to be. It's almost William Gomi-esque, but he ain't as clean as William Gomi. So for me, it just looks like he's a little bit more hesitant than he needs to be. And on the other hand, Taco Chris Padilla has came into the UFC now. This is his third fight. He was an underdog against Hans Jan Top, submitted him in the first round, ran through him with ease. Was an underdog against Rong Zhu. Everyone thought Rong Zhu was going to have the striking advantage over Taco Chris Padilla. Taco Chris Padilla lands a nasty elbow in the second round, breaks Rong Zhu's or swells his eye up like a balloon. And yeah, fight gets stopped right there. Taco Chris Padilla, earlier this week, I saw +15. I have a bet on him at +104. I have a bet on him again at +100, and I'll show you that parlay that I have because I got that later on in the show that I'll show you guys. And line has now closed all the way up to -110 apiece. I think Taco Chris Padilla is better everywhere here except being a point fighter. Taco Chris Padilla is going to throw more heat. He's going to put the pressure on. He's for sure the better grappler. He's got better wrestling. He's from America, taking on a film from England. So, of course, he's got the better wrestling here. If there's a couple fighters that Taco Chris Padilla reminds me of, maybe someone like Marcus McGee, maybe like a Chepe Mariscal, maybe got to the UFC a little bit later than expected, but have already fought enough good people to show their skill, their well-roundedness. I don't really see many holes in Taco Chris Padilla's game. So for me, it's Taco Chris Padilla here. I think he wins it on the ground. Let's go Taco Chris Padilla by second round submission. Which way are you going here?
Yeah, I just I'm also too. I'm gonna try to roll through this because I didn't realize we still got a lot more picks to go, and we've been at it for a little bit. So I do think that Chris Padilla here. I am with you. I do think that he should be able to get the win here. I think Jai Herbert for me personally, again, your Cage Warriors thing for these guys. Jai Herbert, former Cage Warriors champ. You know, it was when Dan Hardy was trying to save him in the octagon. Knocked out by Francisco Trinaldo. Yeah, stop the fight! Stop the fight! Yeah, you can say from there.
2 times, Herb.
Yeah, you could really say from there that was when Jai Herbert really changed because he was regarded as this lethal striker. And, you know, after that, it was, you know, for me personally, I felt like Jai Herbert's career kind of took a turn from there. I think that he's a good striker. He has to keep the range in order to win, where I think Chris Padilla is going to give him none of that space to want to operate. And Chris Padilla is just going to make it a nightmare for him. I do think that let's go. I'm going to say TKO for Chris Padilla. I say he ends up getting the fight down to the ground and getting some ground and pound in. Maybe second or third round. But let's go Chris Padilla here by TKO.
All right. Me and D-Rose both on Taco Chris Padilla. Up next, we've got Nathaniel, the prospect Wood, taking on last Pirate, Morgan Charrier. Nathaniel Wood is 20-6 overall, 31 years old, 5'6" and a 69-inch reach, while the last Pirate, Morgan Charrier, is 20-1 overall, 29 years old, 5'8" and 69-inch reach. Both of these guys come from the Cage Warriors promotion. both been in the UFC for a little bit now. I would say Morgan Charrier's record is 20-10, but he's lost a ton before the UFC, fighting really good competition, and just fighting very, very often. Now that he's made it, to the UFC, he has a lot of hype. I believe he was on a French reality show or something like that, so he's got a lot of fans, and he was finishing a lot before the UFC, but not quite now that he's in the UFC. So just solid overall, well-rounded, good power. And the Chepe fight, dude, that was when you were on Chepe. I was on Morgan Charrier, and I thought fucking Morgan Charrier won that fight. Chepe did get the nod, but that just goes to show the toughness and the well-roundedness of Morgan Charrier. Nathaniel Wood, on the other hand, was having trouble making 135, basically himself. Moved up to 145 now, fought a few times. Andre Fielding being one of those ones, and in that fight, we saw the size disadvantage that Nathaniel Wood is not truly a 145er, and ever since then, he just kind of gets hurt in every single one of these fights. But he's tough enough, he recovers, and he toughs it out. The Daniel Pineda fight that he last fought, he couldn't get Daniel Pineda out of there, so that kind of goes to show me that he don't really have the finishing instinct either up at 145. So for B, D Rose, Morgan Charrier, 3-or decision. Give me the decision once again. How about you, man?
Yeah, I think this one's a good fight. I think that, Nathaniel Wood, I thought he looked really good at 135. Obviously, it seems like the weight cuts are something that, he's not able to manage this later on in his career. I do think the fights for him at 145, while he has been competitive, I thought that Daniel Pineda fight, he looked awesome in the first round, but after that first round, it got a little sticky for him, and Pineda made it tough for him. Pineda made it really tough in the third round.
Crazy because he don't have asking.
Yeah, exactly. And as the fight went, Daniel Pineda made it harder for Nathaniel Wood as it went. I know Nathaniel Wood got the win at the end of the day and did look good while doing it in certain moments, but I do think that it just comes down to the size advantage for Nathaniel Wood at the weight class of 145. I think Morgan Charrier, clean striker. He's got good takedown defense for the most part, and I know his main background is judo. He fights at 145, but there's going to be, I think you'll see a massive size difference just in terms of the density of both these guys. And I think where Nathaniel Wood really has the advantage over most guys in the speed advantage, Morgan Charrier has a lot of speed with him as well, and I think he has the power to pack behind those strikes as well. So I think for me, Morgan Charrier should be able to be better all around. I think Nathaniel Wood might be a little bit more experienced in the UFC, but Morgan Charrier has more experience overall, so I think that can help him out as well. I think Morgan Charrier gets it done. Again, Nathaniel Wood's tough, so I don't see a finish here, but I say Morgan Charrier by decision in what I think could end up being a fun fight.
I say it probably hurts Nathaniel Wood because he always gets hurt.
He gets clipped at least. Yeah, he definitely gets clipped.
All right. So, real quick, did you sell any Tellurides today, dear?
No, I have not. I'm not sold to Telluride in a little bit.
Everyone said you looking like everyone said you looking extra good today.
Yeah. Hey, we just a little shine up for y'all boys, man. I just I had to break out the new razor this week, so hey, it had the stubbles ain't showing up as much this week.
All right, I'm not sure if I said odds on that fight. Nathaniel Wood plus 130, Morgan Charrier minus 155. Not a bad parlay piece. Charrier money line, huh?
Yeah, no, not at all. And it's why again I sent you that bet. I'm pretty heavy on him and Mick Parkin this week, so.
Yeah. All right. So up next, we've got Jordan, the epidemic, Vucinic, taking on Chris, the problem. Dude, why does UFC put Christian Leroy Duncan and Chris Duncan on every card that they do? Put them on every single card. Like,
why
do you do that?
That is right. Every UK card, they do seem to, or at least every other one, they seem to be on the same card of one another. It's like you're trying to confuse us.
Yeah. Anyway, Christian, the problem, I said Chris Duncan. Just the problem, Duncan, is 12-2 overall. So Jordan Vucinic, 29 years old, 5'10" and a 73 reach. Currently, minus 470. The favorite Chris Duncan is 31 years old, 5'10" and 71-inch reach. Currently, plus 360. The dog. For me, I think Jordan Vucinic is basically a younger, better version of Chris Duncan. Chris Duncan gets hurt once again, and just like Nathaniel Wood, but he gets almost dropped in a single one of his fights, and just tough enough to come back and most of the time gets the dub. But this week, we saw Jordan Vucinic in his last fight. Who did he fight? Guram, and Guram. He got a nod, dude, but that was a close fight and short notice. And he showed a good account of himself as well. He's got a solid ground game. And Chris Duncan, if there's one thing he's good at, it's banging on the feet, but he gets taken down and he can get held there, maybe pounded out, maybe submitted. So for me, I think Jordan Vucinic probably finishes Chris Duncan a little bit later, because that's how Chris Duncan fights. He's either live or die by the sword. I don't know how it goes. One of those two. Give me Jordan Vucinic late finish, whether that be ground the TKO or by submission. How about you, DRS?
Yeah, I think I don't like the betting line on this fight. This is another fight that I'm staying away from, because if I'm
currently
be honest,
minus 470, minus 470 Jordan Vucinic, plus 360 Chris Duncan.
Yeah. I don't feel comfortable going with that line per se, but I can understand how Jordan Vucinovic, or what did I say? Did I say that? Vucinic? Yeah, I don't know how in the world I said that, but yeah, I do think that Vucinic should be the favorite here. I think Chris Duncan has been a little bit more up and down. Nah, Dave. Hey, we more of a Werther's original. Yeah, we more of the Werther's original. We're not the Milk Dud. I'm not quite that dark, but yeah, you got me with some Werthers, man, and you good. But no, I think that the Chris Duncan, I would say the more UFC challenge at this point, and I think to your point about him, him being hurt in fights before, against like Charlie Campbell, against guys in the in the Contender Series and stuff like that. I do think that type of experience can really help him. And he has been put up against some tough guys. Manuel Torres, he's fought Ashmove, Belagioki. He's fought some tough guys, man. And I think that Vucinic,
that Belagioki fight, dude. It's like he got knocked out by Belagioki and then ended up winning by submission, right? Like that was.
I thought he won by decision, but
yeah,
did he? Oh yeah, no, he did win by sub. That's right. No, you're right. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like, dude, it's he gets hurt every fight, dude.
Yes, and big time too. Like not just a little bit, like big time as well. So, but I think that's something that can really aid towards Chris Duncan in this fight, man. Again, as you said, those Cage Warrior guys, I don't know if I could trust them, man. I'm taking the shot on Chris Duncan here as a big dog. So give me Chris Duncan here. Let's go by. Do I want to say submission? I think I will go.
He lives and dies with the soul.
Yeah, I will say nah, because Vucinic hasn't been finished. Let's go by decision for Chris Duncan.
All right. Me and D-Rose split on this one. D-Rose on the big dog. Chris Duncan. What is he? Yeah. Wow. Man, I'm Jordan Vucinic, the big favorite there. Anyway, moving on. This was going to be my favorite play on the card, my podcast play of the week, but I went against it. Decided it's probably not the best choice. Anyway, we got the meatball, Molly McCann, taking the last. I'm not going to try that. Thainara. Anyway, Molly McCann, 14-7 overall, 34 years old, 5'4" and a 62-inch. While Thainara is 11-1 overall, 27 years old, 5'4" and a 67-inch reach. Currently, odds for this fight plus 164. McCann minus 198 for Alexis Thainara. Over under on this one is set at 2.5. The over minus 215. The under is plus 165. D Rose, it took me about 5 seconds to decide what was going to happen in this fight. I was on Tapology, on Alexis Thainara's record, saw that she wins most fights via submission. And my thought process was, well, this week we get another meatball sub, baby. Look how delicious that looks. Look how delicious that looks. Got some provolone on there, some oregano. Looks delicious.
You got that nice little crisp on the bread too. I mean,
I know. With that being said, it's Alexis Thainara via sub for me. I say let's go round 2 armbar, man.
Yeah, I'll keep it short and sweet. Again, I'm with you. I just saw where Thainara just gets subs and Molly sets herself up big time to get subbed, whether she's on her back or even if she gets top position, just like she got armbarred by Julia Stoliarenko, which is supposed to be a gimme fight for her. So I love Molly McCann. You know, hey, can I get a rollie, please? Can I get a rollie? Look, hey, one of my favorite quotes of all time. But yeah, sorry, Meatball.
Fucking come on.
Hey, you gotta love Molly's attitude, man. She's got that. You want to talk about one who's got that dog in her? About people from the UK, she 1 gajillion% has that dog in her. But yeah, it's just when she gets subbed so many times. I mean, you got to see the writing on the wall.
Yep. All right, me and D Rose both on Alexis Thainara via submission. Up next, we got the Trailblazer. Kevin Holland taking on Gooder Gunny Nelson. Come on, click it, you thing. There we go. Anyway, Kevin Holland, 26-13 overall, 32 years old, 6'3" and an 81-inch reach. While Gooder Gunny Nelson is 19-5-1, 36 years old, 5'11" and a 72-inch reach. Currently, odds for this fight is -130 Gunner Nelson, +110 Kevin Holland. Over unders 2.5, over +130, unders -166. Kevin Holland will have a 4-inch height advantage and a 11-inch reach advantage. Yeah. This is my podcast play of the week. We're talking before this fight, man. You hate it. I love it. My thing is this is Kevin Holland's fight, man. He wins this fight. You look at it like it's the only time that he's losing is really up at 185. Down to 170, he's gone to decision 2 times against very, very good strikers, being back to Michael Venom Page. When he fights these big guys that can out-muscle him, out-grapple him, that's when he loses the Renier Derrider, Roman Dolidze, big guys, excellent grappling. Although Gunnar Nelson does have excellent grappling, he has takedowns. This is at 170, so he's going to be the smaller guy, and he can't strike worth shit. Go back, dude. Leon Edwards doesn't finish anyone, but he almost finished Gunnar Nelson like years ago. Gunnar Nelson's older now. He's fought like 2 times in the past 5 years, dude. He only fights when the UFC comes to England, dude. He's got to be rusty. Kevin Holland fights often. You saw 20 fights since 2020, dude. 4 or 5 times per year. Kevin Holland's a much cleaner striker here. I'm going Kevin Holland via knockout. I'm hoping it can get past the first round, but if Kevin Holland knocked him out in the first round, it wouldn't surprise me one single, not the slightest. But give me Kevin Holland, second round knockout. I'm going to be playing the Kevin Holland round 2, round 3 prop. And that is the second leg of my most confident picks this week is right. Is it where's it going? Where's it going? Is it going up there or not? Let's see if we can add a stage right there. Chris Padilla money line at +100. Kevin Holland money line +100. I put $20 on that, win 84.80 back. But Kevin Holland money line is my most confident pick this week. So second round for me. What about you, D Rose?
I am just very surprised with the lackluster performances and what Kevin Holland has shown in his last few fights. That that you could be so confident in him going into the fight just because.
No, because it's at 170. He has to cut the weight. He has to go down to 170.
It doesn't matter. I mean, he had to cut the weight for the Jack Della Maddalena fight. He looked like he didn't care to be there. Like, he had to cut the weight to be there for MVP. Everybody after that fight said that he didn't look like himself after that fight. To me personally, it's not anything with talent level for Kevin Holland. It's not. He obviously has the talent. To me, it just seems like the want to for him, because I swear it looks like in his last few performances, he's just kind of going up there, just kind of moseying along, just kind of going through. He just seems like he's just comfortable getting a paycheck now. Even in moments against Renier de Ridder, when he's on his back, he's sitting there throwing up kicks, and it's like, dude, get up on your feet. This is where you were going to lose the fight. And he's sitting there just constantly throwing up kicks. Okay, well then, yes, you're going to give Renier de Ridder a chance to get down on the ground to sub you. I don't think that. I mean, for me personally, I just can't feel comfortable picking Kevin Holland in any aspect. I don't care if it's at 170 or 185. Again, for me, he just looks like he's just out there just to collect the paycheck. He does not look motivated. He's kind of out there, just kind of carefree at this point. You do not see him fight with that same aggression that he fought with when he was on that run early on in 2020. And I know that's a long time ago, but he's also lost 4 out of his last 5. Just don't know how anybody can be confident in him. I'm going Gunnar Nelson by submission. That's just the way that Kevin Holland typically loses if he does lose. I'm going Gunnar Nelson by submission here. I believe you're on mute.
Well, me and D-Rose split on that one. You're for sure losing the pick chain now. Because that's 2 of the 3 that you're losing on. Pooja Tamar and Gunnar Nelson coming home with me this week. Are you ready to eat those gin beans this week? What are you doing, D-Rose? And are you gonna play the podcast play of the week, even though you're going against?
Hell no. If Kevin Holland is your pick, hell no, I'm not playing it, because I will never bet Kevin Holland. I'll never bet him.
All right. Your loss, not mine, D-Rose. Your loss, not mine. Anyway,
I was like, we'll see. Hey, I'm gonna ride this wave of Kevin Holland constantly losing by submission. So again, I see it happening again. So,
all right, next fight going to be the co-main event of the evening. We've got Polish Power when he doesn't leave it in the hotel room. Jan Blachowicz taking on the Black Jag, Carlos Alberg. Jan Blachowicz, 29-10-1, off 2 years old, 6'2" and a 78-inch reach, while the Black Jag, Carlos Alberg, is 11-1 overall, 34 years old, 6'4" and a 77-inch reach. Currently odds for this fight, plus 240 Jan Blachowicz, Carlos Alberg, minus 298. Your favorite. Over under is set at 2.5. Over is minus 160, plus 24. For me here, personally, Jan's just older now, dude. 42 years old, and in his last fight, he came in there with knee sleeves and ankle sleeves on both legs, right? At least I think so. Just not looking the Jan of old, not the one that fought Dom Reyes or Glover Teixeira, if I'm going to be honest, even though that he did lose that fight, just didn't look great in that fight. Carlos Alberg, 8 years younger. I think this stays on the feet, D-Rose. Carlos Alberg just outpoints him, footworks him. Just Jan's going to be chasing Carlos Alberg around the octagon, trying to hit some kicks, but I don't know if he ever lands them. If he does land them, Jan's got some heavy kicks, but I think being in the camp that Carlos is in, I think City Kickboxing will have a solid game plan for Jan Blachowicz here. If Jan can't get him down, I see Carlos Alberg winning this very, very easily, 30-27. So give me Carlos Alberg, 3-or decision. Carlos Alberg decision for me. How about you, D-Rose?
Yeah, I think this is a good matchup. I think it's a proper escalation for Carlos Alberg trying to get matched up to the top of the division. I know he had the Jamal Hill fight, and that fight kind of fell through, and all these things, but I do think that, for me personally, I think that, he was trying to fight for the title basically next. I didn't think Carlos Ulberg was necessarily ready, but I think if he's able to beat a guy like Jan, who's championship, contested, former champ himself, I do think that's something where Carlos Ulberg can potentially propel himself. Jan Blachowicz is going to be a tough out, man. Again, tough leg kicks. I think he's just so smart. His IQ is so high at this point. He's had so much experience. He's fought the best of the best. Jan Blachowicz has. So I do think that, that veteran savvy that Jan Blachowicz is going to have to know what to kind of do in certain moments of the fight, when certain situations arise. I do think that's something that could play in Jan's favor. And I do think that he has the wrestling advantage as well. But I do think that Carlos Ulberg, I think he has the power and the speed advantage. I don't think he's so his leg kicks aren't as dangerous as Jan's, but he does have good leg kicks. And I think that left hook of Carlos Ulberg, outside of Alex Pereira, it's the best in the game, in my opinion. That left hook is absolute money. Every single time he throws it, it lands. And most guys, he hurts him and gets him out of there with it when he does land. I think Jan Blachowicz is so tough. His defense is so great at this point. I do think that it'll be a decision win for Carlos Ulberg, but I think it ends up being a good fight. Lets us know that Carlos Ulberg is ready for the next step, and I think you can potentially see Carlos Ulberg fighting for a title after this.
Fair enough. Me and Deers both on Carlos Ulberg via decision. Moving to the main event, we have Leon Rocky Edwards taking on Sean Brady. Leon Edwards is 22-4 overall, 33 years old, 6'2" and a 74-inch reach, while Sean Brady is 17-1 overall, 32 years old, 5'10" and a 72-inch reach. Currently out of this fight, plus 136 for Leon Edwards. Sean Brady is minus 162. For me, I think Bilal broke Leon, man. I think if you look at Leon's, last 3 or 4 fights, he's been fucking taken down 20 times over those past few fights. I know Sean Brady isn't the wrestler that Bilal is, but if it gets to the ground, I think Sean Brady's got better control, and he's a much higher threat for the submissions on the ground than Bilal is. So, me personally, if it gets to the ground, Leon better be real worried. I know Leon never been submitted, but you look at what Sean Brady did to Gilbert Burns, dude. That was real eye-opening, in my opinion. So, for me, it's round one going to be kind of a feeler out process. Probably don't end up on the ground, but I think round 2, round 3, it ends up on the ground, and we see a Sean Brady rear naked choke. So give me Sean Brady. Let's go round 3 submission. How about you, man?
Yeah, I think, good matchup. I think just in terms of the contrast in styles and in terms of, Leon Edwards, former champ, hey, he's looking to get the bounce back to try to get back to the title, where Sean Brady is a guy who, young contender, has not fought for a title yet, kind of considered the new wave of welterweight, looking to really cement himself and push himself to that title opportunity. So it is a good matchup in terms of that aspect goes. Obviously, Leon, the more experienced guy in terms of championship fights. He's fought a lot of guys with a similar style to Sean Brady, where I think Sean Brady, that he's got that wrestle boxer type, approach, but, as you said, much more dangerous with the jiu-jitsu than what a lot of other fighters would be, kind of considering his style. And I think that, he might not be the wrestler Bilal Muhammad is, but as you said, has the more variety in terms of a way that he can finish a fight, where, of course, Bilal is really not going to finish a fight much at all, except if he's fighting Sean Brady. I think Sean Brady having a few fights since that Bilal performance has really helped him get his confidence back, because I even remember hearing – well, and Sean Brady had even mentioned, before – that he thought that, himself, that he kind of quit in that Bilal Muhammad fight. Once Bilal offered a little bit of resistance, stuffed the wrestling, kept snapping him with the jab. He kind of was like, he got hit with a big shot, and kind of was just like, hey, we'll call it a fight. And Sean Brady kind of went back and said that he'll never make that mistake again. I think that Leon Edwards, I don't know if Bilal necessarily broke him. I think he's always been susceptible to getting taken down. I think he beat Usman in that third fight because he just kept cheating and grabbing the cage and poking Usman in the eye. And Leon cheated his way up and down that third fight and got the win. And nobody talks about that at all. Leon absolutely cheated. Should have got a point taken at a certain point, considering the fact that he grabbed the fence 100 times to try to defend the takedowns. I think Sean Brady's got the skills to get it done here, man. I think especially taking the fight. Sean Brady's been preparing for a fight for Leon Edwards because he's been calling for this fight for a long time. And Leon was getting ready for Jack Della Maddalena before this opponent switch. So I think Sean Brady's going to be a little bit more prepared for Leon in that aspect as well. Give me Sean Brady. I do think that Leon has really good submission defense for the most part. So give me Sean Brady by decision, but I think it's probably Sean Brady gets 4 out of 5 rounds, using a lot of his wrestling to dominate the rounds.
Fair enough. Fair enough. I don't hate it. So that is a pick for every single fight on the card. Just one time real quick, if you guys missed any of them, first the night, me and D-Rose are both on Guram Kutataladze. Second fight, me and D-Rose both on Nathan Fletcher. Third fight, me and D-Rose split. I'm on Sean Abana, D-Rose on Pooja Tamar. Fourth fight, Andre Puliev, Christian Leroy Duncan. Me and D-Rose both on Christian Leroy Duncan. Fifth fight, Marcin Tybura, Mick Parkin. Me and D-Rose both on Mick Parkin. Sixth fight, Felipe Daytona versus Loner Kavanaugh. Me and D-Rose split here. I don't have a strong lean on it, though. I am on Felipe Dos Santos, D-Rose on Loner Kavanaugh. Next fight, Jai Herbert, Chris Padilla. Me and D-Rose both on Taco, Chris Padilla. Nathaniel Wood, Morgan Charrier. Me and D-Rose both on Morgan Charrier. Jordan Vucinic, Chris Duncan. I am on Jordan Vucinic, D-Rose on Chris Duncan. Molly McCann, Alexis Thainara. Me and D-Rose both on Alexis Thainara via submission. Kevin Holland, Gunnar Nelson. I am on Kevin Holland. D-Rose is on Gunnar Nelson. Co-main event is Jan Blachowicz, Carlos Alberg. Me and D-Rose both on Carlos Alberg. And main event is Sean Brady, Leon Edwards. And me and D-Rose both on Sean Brady. Is that correct, D-Rose?
Yes.
All right. So
that is correct.
With that being said, that's all pick. I do have a few bets to share with you guys. That was our win from this past week. That was my win from this past week. And I do have 3 bets to share with you guys that I have already made for this week. One of which, let me get this banner off the screen. One of which being 2-leg parlay, Alexis Thainara, sub 1-2, paired with Sean Brady, sub 2, 3, or 4. I put $10 on that, win $655. So if those 2 subs happen in the correct rounds, the boy's going to cash in. My next one is basically 1 by finish, 1 by knockout, 1 by points. $10 on that to win $519. Alexis Thainara by sub, Kevin Holland by knockout, and Carlos Alberg by points. Those 3 fights all in a row too. So we'll be chilling out at the beginning of the card. And my next one is my favorite plays on the card. 2 dogs, Kevin Holland and Padilla money line. I know D-Rose hating that Kevin Holland, but this is his fight to win, D-Rose. His fight to win.
Man, and for the podcast pick, dude, we collaborated last week. Dude, I'll tell you my
what's your pick
right
this week?
My pick is Mick Parkin money line. I feel great about it.
Mick Parkin money line.
Again, I told you that I got a pretty decent amount of money on him on money line. Dude, even if you did him and Alexia Thainara money line, if you do that money line, you get plus 170 out of the 2.
All right, so right here, let me log in here.
Okay, Kevin Holland. Hey, just know that if he sticks to Kevin Holland for the podcast pick, I did not approve of this.
All right, you see it?
Number 1 bullshit. Yeah, that's Matt's bet. That ain't mine.
$20 win 77. Mick Parkin money line, Kevin Holland money line. Right there it goes. Bang. 20 to win 77 at a plus 285. That's the podcast player of the week. Hey, D-Rose, what did I say when we started to do this? There, sometimes we ain't gonna like the other podcast, the other pick that the other partner has, but you know what? I'm glad with it either way, and I've told myself that even if you have a shitty pick that I hate, I'm going to bet it either way because it's your favorite pick on the card. I'm going to ride with it. It's happened once before. I believe on the second time You hated my pick. It was Cody Brundage, Julian Marquez under 1.5. That shit cashed with ease, man. And it's my most confident pick on the card. Kevin Holland's winning this fucking fight. Down at 170, bigger, longer, younger guy. He's getting this fucking knockout. So Holland, money line, and Parkin, money line, is plus 285 D-Rose. That's what it is on DraftKings. So that's where I bet at. $20 on it. Cashing that shit. What is that? 5-6 weeks in a row now. We're gonna keep that shit rolling. Anyway, if my second most confident pick, Alexis Tharnara sub. I don't hate it because I clearly already have it bet too, and I need it to happen as well. So that would be solid. McParkin money line, Alexis Tharnara sub. That'd probably be a solid play.
Yeah, honestly, I think I'm gonna play it, to be honest.
Anyway, yeah, I don't hate it, but the fifth podcast play of the week: Kevin Holland money line, Mick Parkin money line plus 285. Also, D Rose wanted to ask you last show. You said Valentina was boring. Do you not like her? Finish it over Lauren Murphy or Jessica? Or crazy pal.
Yeah, those were Lauren Murphy and Jessica. Those were utter dominations of chicks who did not belong in the octagon with Valentina to get to that point. And I would say the Tyler fight was close. Was it good? No. And there was a reason there wasn't a rematch, considering the fact that Tyler Santos to that point had fought Valentina the closest in her flyweight title reign. And now Tyler Santos is fighting in the PFL. There was no juice off that fight to try to keep Tyler Santos around in the UFC. So yeah, Valentina has done nothing for herself in terms of providing great fights. She has a couple highlight reel finishes, but and really a highlight reel finish, and that was Jessica I. Because other than that, I mean, she's got some finishes, but again, not the most thrilling.
It's like let's be real. Carlos Esparza and Valentina have about the same highlight equity.
Yeah, very, very. Well, that's a little strong. That's a little strong because at least Valentina does have a couple of, like ground and pounds and stuff like that. But again, like the Lauren Murphys and them, Lauren Murphy did not even belong in the same stratosphere as Valentina Shevchenko. That was just when flyweight was kind of developing itself.
I'm still upset. Like we never got the Nico Montano, the real 125-pound champ versus Valentina.
That was the one. That was the one that the UFC really missed out on. That really makes everybody wonder what could have happened if Valentina Shevchenko was really challenged by the true champ Nico Montano. Yeah.
All right, y'all. With that being said, that's the podcast. We're here over 2 hours. I know D-Rose tired, ready to get the fuck off here. With that being said, appreciate every single one of you for stopping by, hanging out with us here tonight. If y'all haven't already, hit that thumb up button for your boys. We'd try to give y'all some entertainment at very least. You're a cheap day. D-Rose, as Dave says, where'd it go? I just not saw it. I popped it up here. Now I can't find it.
Talking about what it'll settle for?
Nah, before that, he said, let's get rich this weekend. Or no, I don't know where it's at. I lost it.
It's Austin.
Maybe he deleted it.
Yeah, Austin said it.
Oh, okay. Austin.
Let's get early retirement race this weekend, boys. Yeah.
Yeah, let's go.
I'm with you,
and if you guys don't know, the past 2 years in London have been my most profitable card. I've won both times that they've been to London in the past 2 years. The two biggest parlays I've ever won was in the 2 years. 2 years ago, it was a 10-leg, I think $5 to win 900. And this past year, it was a 12-leg, $10 to win. Was it 22 or is it 3,200 D-Rose? I forgot which one it was, but it was over $2,000. And I'm hoping that we can make 3 years in a row that I hit one of these absolute heaters. So, won some money in my account last weekend. Going to kind of probably bet it this weekend. Hopefully, we can hit a heater and I can quit my job, pay off my house, and not have to do anything ever again besides come here and talk to you guys. So with that being said, I don't have anything else. You got anything else, D-Rose?
No, we are good to go. We'll like I said, let's make some money this weekend, boys, and let's clean up the books.
Hell yeah, hell yeah. With that being said, I will catch you guys Friday for Change of Cheddar. And don't forget, fights are early Saturday morning or Saturday afternoon if you're here on the East Coast. But with that being said, we appreciate all you guys for stopping by, hanging out with us here tonight. My Matt, D-Rose on that side of your screen. And and we will catch you guys later. Peace.